All right. Welcome to U3 Sports Talk. It's Wednesday, middle of the week. Tonight, we're talking some hoops, talking some NBA. We are about a month into the season, but talking some hoops. And as usual, we got the crew. We got J Mac, we got Cisco, and I'm Sean. And let's get in. But before we get to some hoops, we got to talk about some of the news of the day. Biggest story of the day in the NFL was the retirement or announcement of retirement of Phillip Rivers. So I want to kick it to the guys and just talk about Phillip Rivers a little bit. Talk about your thoughts about him, his career. And so let's go. So Cisco, coming to you first, man. Phillip Rivers, what you got? All right. Instead of Cisco, we'll go to J Mac. J Mac, what you got on Phillip Rivers?
I got a lot of respect for Phillip Rivers. I just never thought. To me, I thought he was always a decent quarterback. He had a weird throwing. He threw the ball, kind of like a sidearm knuckleball like. But he won a lot of games. He passed for a lot of yards, and he had a lot of touchdowns. I just never thought that with the talent he had, I think they did max. He maxed out. He just wasn't good enough to get them over the hump.
Right.
In the AFC.
Right.
He had real good battles with Big Ben. But again, you got LaDainian Tomlinson, Antonio Gates, a pretty consistent franchise in the Chargers. Phillip Rivers to me was always during his career, he wasn't a flashy quarterback. He wasn't in the news all the time. He was just, everybody liked him.
Right.
So in terms of him leaving the game, I can see him transitioning into broadcasting, because he is likable, and his personality will transition over to TV a lot, pretty smooth in my opinion.
Right.
Whether he does or not, I don't know, if he's even thinking about it.
Yeah, no, he's got a deal to coach prep football in Alabama, which is one of the reasons. He had a deal after last season to coach prep football. I think that's what he wants to do full time. But I think you might be right. I think at some point that pull to do TV may be there for him, because he does have a good personality and he does know the game and he is likable. So
that's pretty interesting. Coaching prep football.
Yeah, he loves. I mean, he has a football team himself at home with all his kids, but he I think like when you see videos of him like going back to NC State and talking to the guys there and things like that, I think he is really interested in in doing it. So we'll see what he ends up doing. Cisco, you with us?
I am here. Spotty at best, though. I am spotty at best.
No, it's no problem, man. Phillip Rivers, what's your thoughts?
A good leader, and that's about it. I don't know how well he knows. I mean, he knows the game of football.
Right.
I think he'll probably have more success. Not a Hall of Famer at all. How was my reception on that one? Was that pretty bad?
It's okay.
Oh yeah. So good guy. I think he gets away with a lot more because of some obvious things. But other than that, though, not a Hall of Famer. I suspect though he will probably have more coaching success than anything.
Mm. Yeah, I think he. I question whether or not he's a Hall of Famer as well in the true sense of Hall of Famer. But he is 5th all time in touchdowns, 5th all time in yards, and I think kind of what the conversation is, and this is interesting to hear your thoughts on this. You guys' thoughts on this is because we're in such a pass happy era and such an era where the rules in the game have basically shifted to higher scoring, more throwing. These guys are going to put up these crazy numbers. Is that really going to justify them being in the Hall of Fame? And I think Phillip Rivers kind of embodies that when you look at his numbers. So J Mac, what do you think about that, man? Just do you think that plays into the narrative of how these guys are judged as Hall of Famers or potential Hall of Famers?
It does, but it does. But I would say this: Phillip Rivers came in. The league wasn't like it is now. You play 17 years, you cross errors.
Right. Yeah.
So with that being said, in Phillip Rivers' case, I don't think that's much of a factor as far as how the game is played today because he's adjusted to it.
Yeah.
He had, he's a top 5 in passing yards. So in my book, and he's in top 5 in touchdown.
Right.
In my book, he will get in the Hall of Fame because I got to look at the other 4 guys ahead of him.
Right.
And a few of the guys behind him.
Right.
We got Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Brett Favre in front of him.
Right.
And behind him is Dan Marino, Big Ben.
Right.
I don't see how he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think his numbers kind of dictate he's in the Hall of Fame. And one, welcome into the stream, Bro Carey. Bro Carey, what's going on, man? Yeah, man,
what's up?
Yeah, we chopping it up about Phillip Rivers and his retirement announcement. You got any thoughts on Phillip Rivers and his career and whether or not you think he's a Hall of Famer?
Honestly, I don't know. I wouldn't say he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Nah. I wouldn't say that. Not at all.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy is like I think there's a thing, and again, I want you all to comment on this. I think the eye test for a lot of us who just watched him in his career does not scream Hall of Famer. But his numbers, on the other hand, really kind of do when you're 5th all-time in touchdowns, 5th all-time in yards. But that eye test it just does not scream Hall of Famer. I know he's gonna get in because the media ultimately decides whether or not he gets in, and they love him. But just the eye test alone just does not scream Hall of Famer to me. I mean, I could be wrong.
Well, the eye test for me was his help. Like he had Antonio Gates.
Yeah, Gates.
Gates is a Hall of Famer.
Right.
But I wouldn't see Phillip Rivers right there beside him.
Right.
The eye test is him throwing the Gates and Gates making the yards to give him them stats.
Right, yeah. And I mean, he played with some really good receivers. I mean, Vincent Jackson was no slouch, Keenan Allen is no slouch. Like he spent and he played with really good defenses in his career too. And you play with, I don't know where you have LaDainian Tomlinson rank or where y'all have LaDainian Tomlinson rank among the all pantheon of running backs. But, if LaDainian Tomlinson ain't your top 10 running backs ever, you don't know football. That's all I'm going to say. But, yeah. Go ahead, Cisco.
Well, your top 10 is questionable since you don't have Tupac in your top 10. Let me know right now.
Listen.
I got you. Another story. I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm sorry, bro.
You don't got Tupac in your top 10?
I have him number 11. I have him number 11. Okay.
But guess who he has in front of him, though? Guess.
Who?
Kendrick Lamar. 20 years from now, maybe Kendrick Lamar. But right now, sorry, man. I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry.
I need you to revisit Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly, and Damn, and then we can have a conversation. But that's neither here nor there. That's fine.
I need you to revisit the 90s, brother. I need you to revisit the 90s.
Okay.
Hey, we getting off topic.
Yeah, that's not the point. It's fine. It's fine. We'll come back. We'll come back to that. It's fine. This conversation for another day. Point is when you look at what Phillip Rivers had around him, I never felt like his teams won because of him. I just never felt like that. Why the eye test never showed me that. And again, I want to get y'all thoughts on that.
So yeah, totally agree. Sorry about the technical difficulties I'm having with my home network, but totally agree. I think Skip Bayless said he's in the class of very good. I have him in the class of good. I almost have him on the same level as a Alex Smith. Good quarterback. You can't win. You can win with him,
right?
Like you said, you can't win because of him.
Right.
I don't know too many quarterbacks that have had at least an all-time great next to him on the same side of the ball,
right?
Or all-time NFL player,
right?
And not be able to win an AFC championship, win a championship game,
right?
Or have that defining moment that says, "Hey, look, I'm here."
Right.
His draft class was who?
It was Roethlisberger, Eli Manning. Yeah, that draft class. Yeah, I mean, he was in a really good draft class.
Yeah, they are Hall of Famers.
Yeah, and again, I think Eli is a no doubt Hall of Famer. I think Big Ben is a no doubt Hall of Famer. But are we? So this is what I want to ask you all, and again, kind of want to just keep the conversation going. Are we taking the fact that those guys won Super Bowls, which is a team accomplishment, and using that to boost their career, or are we just saying they were appreciably better than Phillip Rivers?
They were better because if you look at Brett Favre never won a Super Bowl, but he's definitely a Hall of Famer.
He got one.
He got one.
He got one? He got one. 96. So against New England. Yeah, in the Superdome. That's Desmond Howard. That's the Desmond Howard Super Bowl.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at what's his name? The quarterback from Miami, he got
Marino.
Yeah, he never won.
Yeah, but he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying earlier. I was looking at the Marino's number 6 on that all-time passing yards.
Yeah, and when he retired, he was number 1. I mean,
right. But to your point, son, the eye test tell me everything. That's why I've never had any faith in Phillip Rivers or Phillip Rivers football team. They had excellent defenses. They had all the talent. They had all the weapons. But when it came in, it comes down to it. His late game play I was never like, okay, he's going to get it done.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Cisco was saying, he just does not, he never did it for me, you know what I'm saying? But one thing he did do, he always kept his team relevant in the talks of being a championship team. I think that may not play, that may not be a factor as far as the Hall of Fame, but what it does say is you keep yourself in the limelight, because the Chargers, they weren't a flashy team. So everybody wasn't always talking about the Chargers. They picked 3 or 4 teams every year to talk about. Chargers kind of fly under the radar, but a few people do mention the Chargers.
Right, yeah.
Especially because you have to, because of the talent they always had. They draft well, player development is good. They've had other Hall of Famers, Junior Seau.
Yeah.
I just think that Phillip Rivers' ceiling, he reached it. I don't believe he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but I just don't see with the kind of career he had, the longevity, being in top 5 in passing yards and touchdowns, how they're going to deny him because he never did anything wrong in their eyes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I mean, like,
and his community loves him. And you imagine the pushback against Phillip Rivers if he don't make it.
Oh, yeah, listen,
community?
if he doesn't make it, they will.
Okay, so I would say he's top 5 in passing yards. So okay, maybe not the first round. I would say maybe the third or fourth time up for Hall of Fame. Definitely not 1 and 2.
Right.
That's respectable. You know.
Yeah. And I think it's respectable because I mean, Kurt Warner didn't get in the first ballot.
Right. I think a lot of times we think when we think about these players going into the Hall of Fame, it's kind of like on the edge, on the fence.
Right.
It's not like basketball. Basketball is easy to get in the Hall of Fame. You have 2 good years, win a couple of chips, you probably in. You do some old crazy stat like hit 15 3-pointers in a game. You know, if you're not in the Hall of Fame, they'll be flashing your video in Canton.
Yeah.
So, but with football, these guys, there's a lot of great football players, man. I mean, a lot.
Yeah.
Especially considering there has not been a whole lot of football players in the history of the game. But in our history in football, man, we've had some of the best players. You can, so it's easy to not think of Phillip Rivers or even acknowledge him as a great quarterback because he didn't show us great. He just showed us good.
Right. Yeah. So like I was thinking about it earlier, like, so if Donovan McNabb, for example, does not get in the Hall of Fame, which is a chance he does not get in the Hall of Fame, but Phillip Rivers gets in the Hall of Fame, it's gonna be some riots.
I can't see that at all. I definitely would put Donovan McNabb above Phillip Rivers.
Oh, I would, without question. Like, it's not even a question for me. Like,
yeah.
Donovan McNabb and Steve McNair, to me, should be getting more consideration for the Hall of Fame. Steve McNair won an MVP.
Especially if you're talking about eye test. Like, off eye test alone, he was more dynamic and more explosive than Phillip Rivers.
And they led, not that their teams didn't have talent, but they led teams to a Super Bowl. They didn't win them, but they led teams to a Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know how you justify even those 2 guys out of the Hall of Fame but putting Phillip Rivers in.
There's no argument there with me.
Yeah, and it's like, and again, I go back to it's the eye test, and even thinking about when he's up for the Hall of Fame because it takes 5 years. I don't know who else will be up, for their first time with him if they'll get some of the log jam at receiver cleared up or whatever. But if he goes in first ballot, I'm saying something. I don't know what platform I'll be on, but I'm saying something.
It was rigged.
Yeah, it's just it just ain't right. But and I know too. I remember part of the narrative. Y'all might remember in 2007 when he played in the AFC Championship game 6 days after tearing his ACL. And I thought, okay, yeah, he's out there like battling because he's trying to, they weren't going to beat the Patriots because that Patriots team was unbeatable basically. But he went out there and battled, and had to give him some props for that. But yeah, I don't see how he could be a Hall of Famer before McNabb or Steve McNair. And it's probably guys I'm not thinking about, but yeah.
Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
When it comes to McNabb, I mean, obviously he looks like the better quarterback. He's a better athlete. He's played with some good players as well, some great players as well. My knock on McNabb was kind of, to me, McNabb was kind of soft.
You really think that?
Yeah, I do. I think McNabb was kind of soft, man.
I gotta get you to put a little more context to that because I'm kind of surprised you're saying that.
Nah, I'm being biased, man.
Oh, okay.
I'm about to say,
He messed that Super Bowl up, man.
He mad that dude was throwing up on the sideline.
Man.
Looking like Willie Bean, man.
Nah, I get it, man. McNabb was a hell of a quarterback.
Yeah.
But he was a lot of quarterbacks as well. But again, we can sit here and be like, he shouldn't, but I'm just telling you for real, where he played at, and how long he played, and everything everybody who talks about Phillip Rivers speaks highly of him. I don't see how he don't get in. If I had my vote, I wouldn't put him in no time soon.
Right.
You know, because I want to see other players get in before him.
I agree. Like, I'm not saying he shouldn't be in it, but definitely not right away.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, interesting conversation. Obviously, we could keep it going, but kind of want to pivot. And J Mac, I want to go to you because you are the resident Colts fan on this panel. Where do the Colts go from here with the quarterback situation? Because obviously Phillip Rivers was never a long-term answer, but where do they go from here?
They definitely need to transition out of the old traditional quarterback, which has been, what they other than a couple of years ago they had after Luck got hurt,
Jacoby
Brissett from New England.
Yeah, who's still there?
Yeah, he's a little more mobile, but traditionally their quarterbacks, Peyton Manning, just stand tall in the pocket, but you just can't do that in today's game. Unless you're like an Andrew Luck. Luck doesn't look like he'll ever be healthy again. It looks like it's time for him to hang it up.
He did hang it up officially.
That's right. He did. That's right.
Yeah.
But you got to go young. I would actually go. Well, they're not going to be able to draft like a quarterback from Clemson or guys like that. But they need a mobile quarterback who can, be elusive and also can see down the field, throw first, but able to move if he has to.
Right.
Because he has good receivers. Hilton is an outstanding receiver.
Yeah, he's a free agent, so I don't know if he'll be back. But they got some young guys, I think, in Pascal and Michael Pittman Jr. That I think are worth building around long term. Gary, what you got on this?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
I'm a Bengals fan, so I don't really care about the Colts.
Yeah.
we need a whole rework.
Well, we could talk about the Bengals. I still think y'all made a mistake letting Marvin Lewis go. That's another conversation.
I agree.
Yeah.
But as far as the Colts, I haven't even looked at that team this season.
You could tell by my takes. I ain't looked at them that much. You know what I'm saying? But I think I will say this, Sean. I would have liked to have seen the Colts get Jameis before he went to New Orleans. I think it would be a safe place. It would have been a safe place for Jameis.
I would say from a roster perspective, I agree. I think the problem is in the state of Indiana and Indianapolis, they can't have no black quarterback full time.
Hey, that was before. That was in the last 4 years. We got to, it's been a changing of a guard.
Yeah, no.
No, sir.
I'm pretty sure they still a red
I'm not
state.
trying to dislocate this okay, or let anybody know where everybody's at. But if you were below that Bible Belt, no, they out there. And then of course, if you go north, the one place I would not want to go would probably be Indiana.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm pretty close to Indiana right now, and
yeah.
I'm pretty sure they still a red state.
Oh, they are. Very.
I'm literally like 2 hours away from them.
Yeah, it's not even just redneck state. That's just they still mad that the Pacers didn't take Steve over Reggie Miller. So yeah, I know how they get down. I don't think a brother can quarterback that long term, because I was looking at Brissett's stats when he was there. The 2 years he played, in the 2 years he was a quarterback, he threw 31 touchdowns to 13 interceptions. He didn't throw for a lot of yards, but he was solid. And even last season when he was starting before they got Rivers, they were a good football team until all the receivers and all the running backs got hurt. And then he was basically throwing the guys who were working at Walmart 2 days before. So I don't think he was bad, but I just knew they were never going to buy into him long term for that reason. Cisco, where you think they should go?
Well, I think they could win with Brissett.
Right.
Smart quarterback. Like you said, 31 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Mm-hmm. He's been in the system for a year. Unless you're going to make a splash somewhere else, I don't know where they would go. Do you trade for Sam Darnold? Do you move up for not Daniel Jones, but old boy from BYU, I think, the one they're all hyped about?
Yeah, Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson, yeah, thank you. So you make a move in the draft there. You have assets. I think presently as constructed, if Brissett starts that game against the Bills, Colts win that game. Just on a talent perspective, like everything that you said prior to that, there's no way. So I say they stay in house. At least give them a year. You're not in the market for any kind of quarterback, or go unless you're going to trade for Deshaun Watson or trade for Sam Darnold. But even Sam Darnold and everything else, it's a crapshoot. Unless, of course, everybody's leaning toward Carson Wentz, but I don't know about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, Eagles obviously are not trading Carson Wentz. Clearly, they got rid of Doug Peterson because they don't want to trade Carson Wentz, and they can't take the cap hit right now. And then certainly, if you look at the Jets, I think it really depends on Saleh, the head coach, and what he wants to do. I think it's too soon to give up on Sam Darnold. That's just me, because they've been a dumpster fire since Adam Gase got there. And I didn't think it was right to, I don't think it's right for them to give up on Darnold just yet. And the Texans will not trade Deshaun Watson in the division, knowing he could come back and wear them out 20 times
for years.
For years. If the Texans did that, they should burn down Reliance Stadium. Well, I mean, not, you know what I mean.
Hey, motherfuckers just storm the Capitol, bro.
Yeah, it is storm the Capitol. No, I'm saying, like the Texans don't deserve to have a franchise if they trade Deshaun Watson in the division. Like, you don't deserve to have a franchise. Like, if you were controlling the Texans on Madden and Deshaun Watson demanded to be traded, you would not in any division team in Madden. So you definitely don't do that in real life. So yeah,
I'll do it in Madden because I know my guy will be the best one there is. So.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you don't want him to come back and bite you, is what I'm saying. Yeah, you just don't want that to come back and bite you. It's going to come back and bite you anyway at some point down the line. You just want to minimize it. If you can, you get him out the conference, but at least get him out the division.
So do you trade for? Do you go after Carson Wentz? I just don't. I would not do that. I just could not do that. Now knowing that I have a competent quarterback.
Yeah, the Eagles aren't trading Carson Wentz. They're not trading Carson Wentz. They are basically, locked in. They would take a $55 million cap hit this year if they traded him, and they're already at $75 million over the cap. So, yeah, I just don't. I don't. They wouldn't do that just because of their cap situation. Should be some decent quarterbacks on the free agent market, but if I'm them, I'm with y'all. I think you go with Brissett. I just think you go with Brissett this year. Give him a full year in the training camp and as your starter. Maybe you draft a guy, late and see what you can develop. But I don't see them, needing to make a move this year. And you can win with Brissett. You may not win because of Brissett, but you can win with Brissett.
I disagree. I think you can win because of Brissett.
Yeah, I think because of his legs, but because he can move. But
right.
In terms of like him dropping back throwing for 400 yards a week, that's not him.
He wouldn't have to do it because they have a running game. They have a solid offensive line, so they can definitely keep it balanced and even do it. With him, almost like a Shanahan style offense where you can move the quarterback around.
Right.
The only other quarterback that I see that's out there that I would, if I am the Colts, I'm looking at Stafford because I know that's arm talent. You say what you want, but that boy get the ball down the field. He can make every throw there is. He's mobile enough, and he's a winner. In context of being with a Detroit Falcons.
What quarterback he just named?
Matt Stafford.
That's why he got booted out of here. You had to come back better than that.
You don't think Matt Stafford can do it?
Man, he's another one. He's another Phillip Rivers to me.
I think he might be better than Phillip Rivers.
Hey, what's going on, man?
So let me explain it. So to everybody who if you were to track my time in the military, Sean and J Mac would be phase 2 of that time. Brother Kerry, he would be phase 4. It's just funny as far as the streamline. And as you can see, J Mac, I do hang out with other dark people, so you shouldn't feel too special.
You gotta keep us around. What you mean?
Nah, bro.
I gotta keep just in case I get into a fight or go to jail.
You gotta stay validated.
Cisco, I'm about to put you in a category. You got to watch it when you talking about you got a black friend. Every white person that says they got a black friend. Do I need to continue?
Well, first of all, I feel disrespect because motherfuckers is the first thing they think of. First one I had here, it was first
you had hair?
in the army I had was first of all.
Oh yeah, the head full of hair.
Oh yeah, I got.
So there you go. There you go. There you go. That's my proof.
I got to see pictures.
With a bald spot growing right at the top.
Thank you. I really do appreciate that. I really do. Hey, J Mac, if you decide to eat something bad and hot, and you catch diarrhea for 3 days, I wouldn't be mad at that.
I'll be eating ice cream for the rest of the week, man.
Hey, bro. Got to come out some way. But
I mean, speaking of hair, I need my guy Kevin Durant, the LIG, let it go.
That shit's hardcore, bro.
You say cool. Kevin Durant?
Yeah, I need to let it go. It's bad.
Nah, let's just come out with a brush for that type of texture.
No,
it gotta be steel. Gotta be steel wool. It should come with an automatic motherfucking relaxer too.
Everybody was talking about LeBron hair back in the day,
but it don't look like that though, man.
LeBron went got that treatment because LeBron stuff was gone. It was gone. Like it was, LeBron was looking like George Jefferson in Miami, and then he come back, and now all of a sudden it's filled in.
Hey, that's what that millions of dollars do for you.
Steve Harvey treatment.
Yeah, the Steve Harvey, you know, where your
I
lineup
think
is
Deion Sanders, man.
all the time. Oh, Deion Sanders. Yeah, I don't know
Deion
why
Sanders.
he did that. You know,
He still got it.
I don't know, but yeah, good transition to hoops. When we talk about hoops, yeah, 30 days. We've been in the NBA season 30 days. Y'all got any thoughts on the first 30 days of the season?
Go Heat.
Yeah, you're a good guy. I like you. I like you a lot. I didn't tell you that before. I like you a lot.
100.
Yeah.
First of all, fuck both of y'all.
Wait. Your team won 3 championships in 4 years. You have nothing to complain about.
With a light-skinned brother, with 2 light-skinned brothers. Talk to me now. Talk to me. I feel like I started that back in the day, man. It was Genuine first, then it was me, then it was President Barack Obama.
Yeah.
You know,
Wait.
Don't forget comedian Pierre.
Wait. Barack
No.
Obama ain't light skinned.
He ain't too color either, bro. He damn sure ain't
darker than your ass.
Yeah, but you know, I can get there. You can't.
Nah, you can't get there.
See, I'm not trying to get in them clown pictures. I'm not trying to get Brother Karen, DC, you know me. I support you no matter what. even though you remind me of motherfucking 12 o'clock shadow. That's neither here nor there. Let's move on.
Well, that's so wrong.
I'm not in that.
Brother.
You know what? Because we in a public space with people I don't really know too well. I'm gonna keep quiet.
You know.
So
man,
everything that you said, J Mac and Sean has already said to me. Trust me. They're the first one.
Yeah, you know, but I read a book that can help y'all out in your relationship. Just let me know if y'all want.
Yeah, that stimulus.
Wait, hold on. Wait, what was that?
Some of that stimulus money can be used for counseling.
Yeah, so I read a book that can help you out in relationship. You know, if you feel like things are getting crazy, you know, I read a book that can help you with that. So just let me know. You know, I'm here for you.
Was it an autobiography, brother?
No, not at all. Not at all.
He didn't catch it, bro. He didn't catch it.
Yeah, so to the NBA season, not a lot is going on in the NBA season thus far. Not real quiet season so far.
Really?
Yeah, I think.
Like what?
Yeah, I mean, I think Brooklyn might have made a move here and there. And they're actually losing right now.
Yeah, I don't like that move.
Why not? Why not?
Because like Harden is, to me, Harden is being a toxic teammate.
He's trash.
He's a toxic teammate. Like, you done gained weight just so you can get off the Rockets. But the Rockets were your team.
Right.
Like, he had control over whatever he wanted on that team, except Westbrook. You know, Westbrook do his own thing. But you done gained weight to get off this team to go to Brooklyn. Now you got to try to lose this weight and try to become the player that they need you to be. But you got Durant, you got Kyrie, and their supporting cast. That's not your team anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't know what he's gonna do to try to make himself relevant on that team. Like,
well, so I don't disagree with what Brother Kerry's saying. I mean, he, for all my hate toward him, he is a good player, and he can give you 60. He can give you 60 tomorrow night. It's just I don't know. I don't see how that's going to work. You give up all your depth, your defense, and in that fourth quarter against the Bucks, what were they doing? The Bucks were just in there. It was free ride to the rim the whole time. So I don't know if I trust that. And plus, all of them guys are fragile. They're all fragile. They're fragile superstars. You know what I'm saying? They can't. They bruise easy.
His defense was trash.
Always
and Kyrie's defense is suspect. Trash. And Durant's defense is trash. So it's just gonna be an offensive game with Brooklyn.
I mean, their lack of size is gonna hurt them defensively. In particular, too, because at times they're probably going to slide Durant to the 5 because they really don't have a true backup center to DeAndre Jordan, who is well past his prime at this point. Yeah, I just think they're defensively, they're a liability. Everybody's, picking them to come out of the East. I don't think they're the best team in the East, even with Harden. I still think the Sixers are better. I'm not sure they're better than Milwaukee.
They definitely.
Yeah, I think on paper they might be the third best team. MC, where you think where you got them in the East?
Man, Brooklyn is the Belle Biv DeVoe of basketball, man.
All right.
Three
Explain what the vote is, though, man.
Three guys that all of them have been a part of great opportunities, organizations, and they all decided they needed to do their own thing.
Right.
All three of them wanted their own team. Now they on the same team.
So you're saying you're not waiting for that Ricky Bell solo album?
No, I'm not looking for nothing with them. I'm looking for comedy. Now, but for real though, if their personalities were a little bit better, I don't think it's a team that can mess with them offensively. Defensively, they're horrible.
Right.
Pitiful. They got rid of all their depth. I'm like Cisco. Kyrie and KD had a way better chance of just them two than with Harden. You bring Harden in, you got to please Harden.
Yeah.
Like bro said, how in the hell do you go through all those antics, gain weight, eat honey buns and pizza right before you go to sleep every night, just so you can cry like a baby to get out of Houston, where that's your team. You put them in the mess they in. Right. They gave you everything that you asked for.
Right.
And you couldn't do nothing with it. You had plenty of opportunities. I just don't think Harden is one of those guys that it sometimes looks like he gets along with other star players, but he don't. He don't. He ain't him and Kyrie. Like tonight, I already figured tonight was going to be all about Kyrie.
Right.
I figured since he's been on this Martin sabbatical, and they grew dreads on our ass, but
your brother Shaquille Sunflower.
Yeah, he needed to take 6 days,
Yeah,
but 6, whatever. But Kyrie is another baby. You got to spoon feed him. You got to spoon feed Harden. And Durant just sitting there like, well, they got their own mind. Let them think for like they want. Man, if I was Durant, I'd slap both of them motherfuckers. No way in the hell Kyrie should be taking more shots than Kevin Durant. And before James Harden got there, he was taking more shots than Kevin Durant on a nightly basis.
Right.
Durant, it should be in his contract no less than 25 shots a game.
Right.
For real. Look, I ain't never really been a huge Durant fan. Like I wasn't a huge, but at the end of the day, can't nobody score as easy as Kevin Durant. I mean,
he's like the Kembe Mutombo of shooters. Like he's so tall and lanky, it's hard to guard him. So he gonna get the shot off. But I don't know why he just don't take the ball and shoot the shit.
That's what I said.
Yeah. So, first of all, why would you? So I understand why he left Golden State. I get you on that one. But obviously we had enough depth. I would say either through draft picks, whatever we have. Maybe we don't get those with him. But Steph Clay and KD, they would have won 3 more championships. If we were at proper depth, you guys said by Draymond Green, hey, thanks for coming out. Appreciate it, Draymond.
No.
They wouldn't have 3 straight.
Not coming out the West.
The crazy thing is they were going
to saying you're saying that KD, Steph, and Clay and everybody else would not have came out of the West? You don't be able to beat the Lakers?
You saying they would have won 3 more straight?
Nope.
Man, no.
So give them 3 years. 3 years, I guarantee they at least they have to have 2, right? They get 2 out of that.
No,
it's a possibility, but you gotta understand those guys wear down, man. Those
So-
light-skinned superstars you got, they wore it out. They wore it out.
I would say they're not big enough because LeBron and the Lakers done learned their antics. They're not coming out of West no more. They're not big enough. You got Anthony Davis on that side.
What I'm saying though, I'm saying if KD would have stayed there, they wouldn't have got the draft picks. Maybe they could have got the depth. But I'm saying if KD stays, you got to let go of Draymond Green. Okay, no worries there. Maybe you just get players who are comparable, like Lee, Pascal, or Pascal. I forgot. I'm sorry, but Pascal. Yeah. So those are very comparable. Good, they're very good players. I shouldn't say very good. They're good players, and they're great complementary players to what they have to have. So if you're telling me that three of the greatest shooters of all time are not going to win a championship together, not within three after they get hurt. Okay, I got you. That if they are together this year, they wouldn't win this year's championship. They wouldn't be. They can't beat the Lakers and or the Clippers. No, man. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna say this: the best thing that happened to the Warriors last year was all of these guys being out. Because they got a chance after going on that 5-year run. They went on going to the finals every year. They got a chance to kind of reset. And they wouldn't have had KD last year because KD sat out last year, obviously. They wouldn't have had Klay last year because he sat out. Steph missed most of the season. They still would have gotten the number 2 pick. So you're talking about having KD, a healthy KD, possibly a healthy Klay, Steph, Draymond, and you still get Wiseman.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's a dynasty. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a dynasty.
That's a heck of a reset to a 5-year run, and they get, and again with KD still there, obviously, and with Wiseman, you have some size and some length that can compete with the Lakers in the West. So I don't think Cisco is off.
I don't think he. I think it's good. But here's the deal: you're only talking about KD staying with Golden State.
Right.
Now, you know damn well LeBron was not just going to get AD if KD would have stayed on that squad.
Right.
So we're talking about a possibly Bradley Beal, Kawhi.
No.
Well, we know Kawhi didn't go, but what I'm saying is LeBron would have gotten another star. Could have been Giannis.
Right.
It could have been somebody that, because he wasn't gonna. LeBron is not gonna go up against that same Warriors team unequipped like he did. Those other 2 years that they lost. It wasn't gonna happen. So it's good to think like if KD stayed, they get Wiseman. It's good to think that they would just automatically win the championship, but LeBron would have something to say about that because they're in the West.
That's why I'm saying they wasn't going. That's why I say they're not going to win 2 out of the 3 out of those 3 years. Like, it's not possible. If Durant stayed, it's still not possible to me. Like LeBron is such a smart. He got so much basketball IQ. It's not gonna go the same. It's not gonna go the same. He's gonna make that team, like he already made the team his own. Just like when he went to the Heat, he made the team his own.
So I would remind people that head to head in the playoffs, Durant holds the edge over LeBron in series in the playoffs. The only time LeBron has beaten Durant in a playoff series was in 2012 in the finals. Not to mention that Golden State team ran through a LeBron team, and again, I'm not talking about the second time they played. I'm talking about the first time they played them when they had everybody. They ran through that team.
Kyrie did not look the same. He didn't.
Kyrie got hurt. Kyrie got hurt in the finals.
No, I'm saying no. That was
he didn't get hurt in that finals.
2015 when he got hurt in the finals. That was before KD got.
I'm talking about 17.
17 before he got traded to Boston because he had checked out. He wanted to get traded after they won that championship in Cleveland. So they kept him another year.
Kevin Love didn't do nothing that series.
Yeah, but I mean, they ran through that team. Like,
They had their bench was not good. That's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. Like this Lakers squad, LeBron, his bench would have is improved by miles and leaps than the teams he had in Cleveland.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go, sister.
So I don't disagree with what J Max saying. I agree. His team has improved, and getting AD, a top 5 player, he would definitely a top big man in the league. Yeah, I get you. But you're talking about 3 of the greatest shooters of all time. And while Kevin Durant necessarily didn't play, doesn't play the best defense, but he does play defense. And when he's with us, Kerr had motivated him, hey, why don't you try and go for that defensive MVP? He can do that. There's nobody like, okay, KD matches up against LeBron.
Right.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Right.
AD, if we keep Wiseman, he's young, he'll probably give him the business, especially if we don't keep Green. Okay, but we can throw depth. If we have depth on him, we can throw Looney, we can throw Wiseman. This is all hypothetical, I got you. But who's holding Steph? Because it's going to take 2. Because LeBron's not going to guard KD for 45 minutes or 60 minutes.
There's no 2 people to hold Steph. Why would it take 2?
I'm saying who's no. It'll take 2 for KD. What I'm saying though is who's going to hold Steph on that team? Currently, it's constructed.
No.
Dennis Schroeder.
No, you're talking about individual players versus a team. Frank Vogel.
Okay, so who do you get the edge to? Do you get the edge to Steve Kerr ran team, who obviously knows how to build a team, or do you give it to Frank Vogel?
I'm giving it to Frank Vogel defensively. Because defensively, he's a hell of a coach. We seen that last year in the playoffs when he adjusted all 3 series. Look, they didn't have the same starting 5. They didn't have the same starting 5 series to series. They made adjustments and they just played way better D than anybody. Anybody. You don't think that Frank Vogel, he's gonna play the ball. Like Durant, you don't have to double Durant. You just have to let Durant shoot shots he don't want to take.
You can't stop.
You do that, huh?
You can't stop Durant. It's like you can't stop LeBron.
I'm saying
you can't stop LeBron.
Yeah, you want to make.
I agree with both. You can't stop LeBron. You can't stop KD either.
No, you can't stop him. No, but you got to make it uncomfortable for him. You want him scoring 30 on 25, 20, 27 shots. Not 18.
He would have to do that though. Like I said, it's all hypothetical, but he would have to do that though if he has Clay and Steph with him. Are you come on? That's and then whoever.
Obviously, they got the shoot. They got the shooters. We know this.
Yeah.
They got the shooters,
and they got the program too, though. I mean, Steve Kerr can draw some shit up, right?
Yeah, but what is Steph in late ball games has shown in late ball games in the playoffs, he has shown the ability to mess it up, to choke.
So yeah, that one, I remember that play like it was yesterday. When he tried to do the behind the back pass and he had Klay Thompson in the corner.
It
was a year that people beat the Warriors in the finals. He's been up, but
16. I'm talking about the shot selection.
But mind you, though, the Warriors team just pulled a comeback. I think they're down by 20 or something like that. They just came back and they beat
the Lakers.
LeBron and the Lakers. Because I just don't think you have that. I just they could maybe they're just saving themselves. Like it's early in the season. I got you, but the KD, Steph, and Clay team, Clay plays defense. You don't have to put Durant on LeBron, but you can switch them out as long as you kind of hide Curry in the background. But at the same time, Schroeder can't hold Curry. Can't do it. Clay can hold Schroeder. KD, they'll throw bodies at either Pascal or whatever to keep LeBron James or keep LeBron James out of the middle. And then you got Wiseman. Wiseman is gonna get bucket. I promise you that, because there's no way he'll just cut out of you. Easy work.
What about Harrell? Who's gonna hold Harrell?
Harrell can't hold Harrell. He can't. He doesn't play defense. Joker's been motherfucking giving him the business.
You got Harrell down there and AD.
So
I mean, Harrell is not. He hasn't done too much.
let me ask you a question. Let me ask y'all a question. If you look at the Lakers roster as presently constructed, what is their best five?
LeBron and AD.
Okay. Like if their best five, their best lineup. What's their best lineup?
What's that dude with the 3 initials?
KCP.
Yeah,
So
LeBron,
LeBron,
AD, and him.
KCP, and then who are your other two? Did
I don't have it.
you say Schroeder?
He ain't got it. He ain't got
That's it. I don't
Harrell.
have no more.
Schroeder and Harrell.
Schroeder and Harrell. So
But me personally, I like Kuzma.
I'm not. I mean,
Who?
That's where they
I
messed
like
up at.
Kuzma. I like Kuzma.
I think that's where they messed up at. I swear to you. If they trade Kuzma instead of Ingram, that's a problem. That's a problem. That's what I think that mistake is made. Because Ingram can get buckets. He just didn't get the opportunity or whatever. But Ingram, that's my dog right there, bro. That is my dog.
no. I mean, I don't think New Orleans makes a trade if they don't get Ingram out of the deal. I think they knew what Kuzma was. Yeah.
Ingram's more poised for his own team, so he wouldn't fit with the Lakers.
He fit. LeBron make it fit.
I like Kyle Kuzma though.
I do too.
I think he's okay. He's inconsistent. I'm not. I think he is what he is. I don't think he's good. I think he's okay.
Hey man, we got a 113 in Cleveland.
Yeah, I know, which is crazy. But yeah, so if you take the Lakers' best five, and again, I'm trying to get some consensus here. So you're saying Schroeder, KCP, LeBron, AD, and Harold. That's their best five.
The only thing I may do is take Harrell out and put Kuzma in at that power forward. I mean, not power forward, but and move him to the 3.
Right.
LeBron. If LeBron is playing power forward, yeah.
Right.
If LeBron is playing point, I want KCP at the 2. If LeBron is playing the 4, I want Schroeder at the 1.
Okay, so are we still? So are you taking Harold out?
I'm keeping Harold in.
Even Harold in. Okay, so and I want Cisco to get back in on this. So if you took that proposal, what could have been the Warriors lineup if KD stays with Steph, Clay, KD, Draymond, and Wiseman? You think that Lakers lineup matches up with that lineup?
No,
not at all.
Right.
The Warriors, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about the Warriors. Right. If KD stays and you have a lineup of, again, you got
KD, Steph, Clay, Wiseman, and maybe Lee.
And Draymond.
I would say Draymond has to go because there's no way you're gonna afford KD. No way.
But they were going to do it. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like they were doing it. Like they Warriors ownership, Peter Goober, and those guys don't care about paying luxury tax. They care. They want to win. So they were going to.
If you make that move, then who would you move to the Lakers to help LeBron? Because that top 5 is not going to be the Lakers' top 5. I mean, the Lakers' top 5 is not going to be that top 5 7 games or freaking 4 games.
Yeah, I don't think that team. I think the Lakers have to make a move.
Yeah, they have to.
The thing is, I don't know what they have where they could go out and get a Bradley Beal because you're not getting Beal for peanuts. And I mean,
the same deal you made for AD, you have to make the same deal for Beal.
Yeah, you got to make the same deal for Beal, and they don't have. Yeah, I look at their roster. I don't see anything on that roster. Be like, yeah, I definitely want him in a trade with Bradley Beal, unless I'm getting AD.
They're not gonna give up AD.
Yeah, and I'm saying they're not doing that. So
they would have to do like a 3 or 4 team trade, like with Harden, to get something that they want.
Yeah, but
I would try to go after Jaylen Brown.
And see, I think Boston's locked in with Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, I know they are, especially this year.
Yeah, I don't. And see, if I'm Boston, I don't trade Brown or Tatum. I think those you can build around those two for the next 10 years. I don't trade either one of them.
I'm on the record of saying that not only will they win at least 2 more championships together, they will probably beat the whole record.
You think they beat the 73-9?
Oh yeah, easily.
I don't.
Easily, no.
I don't know if they
They're
do.
older now, Cisco. That would be detriment to them going far in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So with that,
try to do that, that's hard, man.
So I think the only team that probably has the best shot will probably be the Clippers, right?
Because of their length and on the perimeter.
Yeah, that's really the only because you don't necessarily let the problem with guarding that 3-headed monster, man, is just that one. And if you have Wiseman, they're gonna be in trouble. Okay, but any of those guys, any of those 3 can go nuclear, and it's been proven
Right.
throughout the season. Hey, he has a hot hand. They have no egos. Let's go ahead and let Clay go score 39 or 36 in a quarter.
37.
37, excuse me. On take what was it? 11 dribbles.
Yeah. No. Well, that was the game. He scored 62 and he only dribbles.
62 on 11 dribbles, bro.
60 on 11 dribbles. Yeah.
Exactly.
In 3 quarters.
Yeah,
It didn't play the full court.
We call that LSP.
Yeah.
Well, he gets in the Hall of Fame in my book for just doing that. He ain't got to do nothing else.
He's a Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That's LSP. You know what that is?
Hey man, I'm looking at this box score for Brooklyn.
Yeah.
This is why I don't have a lot of faith in them.
Right.
Minutes played: Durant 39, Jeff Green 34, Kyrie Irving 37, James Harden 40, Joe Harris 31.
Wow.
That's a lot of minutes.
Yeah. They're gonna have to make moves, which is crazy, but they're gonna have to make moves. You know.
I don't. They can't. They'll get wore out before the midpoint of the season. Playing that
They got to move off Kyrie, right? They got to move off Kyrie.
I think
Kyrie.
I just think what they probably have to do is look at the buyout market and see who gets bought out. You know, is like a JaVale McGee, for example. Like they got to add some length to that team that can come in and compete and play immediately. They need dirty work guys. There are no dirty work guys.
No, they got nothing.
All your great championship teams have at least one great dirty work player, and they don't have that guy. So looking at them, I just don't see how they. I don't. Everybody talking about they got a championship or bust. I didn't see championship or bust for them because again, I don't even have them coming out the East.
Yeah, it's hard to say championship right now, right?
Yeah, and it's just proven when you put a team like that together and you add a piece like James Harden to a team like that, you don't win in the first year. It's just hard. You can't.
Unless
you do it in the middle of the season. But Golden State again they had won, so it was different because they had won. If they had won and then they add KD, I think it's totally different because again, he's coming to a culture where they understand. Those guys understood what it meant to win. Yeah.
Hey, fellas, I'm gonna have to catch y'all another time.
All right, bro.
All good.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. We'll be back on later in the week doing our conference championship breakdown. So yeah, feel free to come back and join us, man. We appreciate it.
Too easy, man. Take care.
All right.
Salute, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I just think it's gonna be interesting to see, what they do. I don't know if they presently constructed. I don't know if they win a championship. I just don't see it.
I just think they're getting old. Cisco, they're getting old.
Yeah, maybe.
I got this glare. I'm trying to see.
Well, with your camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, play with it.
Oh shoot. I was having problems with it. Let me see.
I'm just glad Herc's not on right now because he would love this background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that guy. Look at little granny in the chat. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that man since Georgia.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm still here.
Yeah.
See who that is behind me?
Yeah. The greatest, the GOAT, the real GOAT, Tom Brady.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, this glare is killing my eyes.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I just it would be interesting if they still had KD, but let's talk about some of these other teams that looking at the standings. Any surprises for y'all in the standings thus far in the season?
New York Knicks.
Yeah, got to talk about the Knicks. Got to definitely talk about the Knicks. I think Tom Thibodeau might be getting Coach of the Year thus far. They ain't even got to make the playoffs, and he might get Coach of the Year.
He got them boys playing, man.
Yeah.
They blew out who they blew out yesterday?
Who?
They blew somebody out.
Boston out.
Blew Boston out, right.
I think that's the biggest surprise there. Not necessarily the blowing out. Pause.
They're 7-8. Fourth in their division.
Yeah, and they're sixth in the East right now.
Yeah.
With the teams that were in the bubble that were in the playoffs last year, I expected more consistency out of them. Now, I can understand Lakers, Clippers, but Denver, I'm right now. I'm truly disappointed. That's my surprises. My disappointment with the Bucks. Disappointment with the Denver Nuggets. Still pulling for the Phoenix Suns. Honestly, I really want to see the Phoenix Suns and Chris Paul get his first ring. I would like to see that. That'd be a good storyline. First time the organization gets their championship. All time great point guard gets his first championship. That will really streamline that storyline. Stuff. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
So yeah, no, I guess it's early. It's early in the season. We're in the middle of a pandemic. There's no, fans in the stands or limited fans or no fans in the stands, however you want to call it.
Right.
This is just overall. I'm more like disappointed in the actual, in the teams that I expect to do better. I don't know. What are your feelings about the Heat? I don't know if the Heat has any injuries going on right now. I don't know if Butler's hurt, but
yeah, they lost. So the Heat lost some guys to COVID early in the season because of contact tracing. They've had some games postponed. It was so it's been kind of an interesting season for the Heat thus far. I always tell people, particularly when you're watching a lot of these teams, they really a team like the Heat, again, like the Lakers, went very deep into, obviously they were in the finals in October, and then you turn around 2 months later and you're back in training camp. So I wasn't expecting them to jump out the gate like that. I thought they were going to be a team that was going to have to kind of find their stride kind of later in the season, just because you got to play the long game when you play that long into the season or in the bubble. But yeah, the Heat definitely their record isn't what they wanted to be, but I think they'll be okay. They'll still be a playoff team. I don't think they'll miss the playoffs, obviously, unless something crazy happens. It'll be interesting to see. The Hawks have been a bit of a surprise, even though I think they're coming back down to earth a little bit. They spent a lot of money in the offseason. So I expect that they will, more than likely be in that conversation of one of the teams compete for the last spots in the East. they lost Bogdanovich for the season, I believe. So I don't know if they'll, but they got a lot of depth, so they should be okay. Yeah, in the West, what the team that's been the biggest surprise for me is the Spurs, which is kind of crazy to say that the Spurs have been a bit of a surprise. I just didn't have a lot of expectations for them coming in the season, but when you got one of the 5 best coaches in NBA history, and they got some pretty decent young talent. Keldon Johnson is a guy to watch out for with the Spurs. So they're gonna be in the hunt. They're late. Not surprised about Denver, to be honest with you. Even though Joker's averaging a triple double, and I think right now he's the MVP front runner right now. But yeah, I'm not surprised about Denver at all. They lost a lot of their really good role players, losing Plumlee, losing Grant, losing Torrey Craig. That hurt, and they didn't really replace.
Grant.
Yeah, so
he's with Detroit now.
Yeah, he's with Detroit now, and he's playing good ball. I mean, it's obviously Detroit; they're not very good, but he's probably their best player to start the season. So yeah, yeah. So let me see what you got on it. Any thoughts?
Oh, I was on mute. We talking about the Hawks?
We just talking about kind of surprise.
Yeah, you went to the West. I like Phoenix. I like Phoenix a lot. Phoenix is really, really close to. Number one, I think they'll make the playoffs this year.
Yes, I think they're a playoff team.
And I think we was talking about it the other day. I was like, looking at the teams that made the playoffs last year versus the ones that didn't. The NBA has a different feel to it now.
Right.
The playoffs seem reachable to every team now.
Right.
And that's good for the league.
Yeah.
Barring this Brooklyn Net experiment don't derail it. Because when it went back to the two superstars on one team, brought some more balance to the league, it still gave they still gave other teams that hope that these guys can be got. It's not like an overwhelming favorite.
Right.
A lot of nights in the NBA, if you play harder than the other team, the talent ain't gonna even matter.
Right. Yeah.
Now in the playoffs is different because you got the matchups and everything slows down. You're only playing for one team, so a lot of times the more talented team, if they're focused, will win.
Right.
But I would take a team like Phoenix with the leadership of a Chris Paul. They're gonna be scary in the playoffs, man. By the time they get to the playoffs, they're gonna be scary. You ain't gonna want to play them, man.
No.
Because Devin Booker to me is a cross era player. He's a guy, no matter what era of basketball you're thinking about, he will always belong in the group of volume shooters who have ice water in their veins. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not a shot he won't take.
Right.
It's not a moment too big for him.
Right.
And if you go to sleep, as we've seen Paul George and Kawhi do in the bubble, Devin Booker will light you up. He's a walking 30, man. Yeah. I've seen him get down the court the other day. He got a rebound. They were losing, and so they had to score fast. He just weaved through the whole team in transition like they weren't even there. It's like that motorcycle driving on the freeway. Everybody else driving the speed limit. He just flying, weaving in through them. That's what he did, and just scored. It had to be 3 seconds in the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, so I don't disagree with anything J-Max said at all. Like I said, my overall, So that makes sense that they're going to they're young. I think they're one of the youngest teams out there as of right now. But that team's been together. They have a great head coach, and then you have a head coach on the floor. So it makes sense that they're going to be there, right? They're going to push that bubble,
right.
But in the same sense, though, I know Denver lost a lot of their key players, but at the same time, you do have Jamal Murray, who's one of the premier scorers. Excuse me, in the NBA, along with Joker. I look at Philly, same thing. Philly just got a new head coach. They look like the team they're supposed to be. Raptors, nothing's changed for the Raptors. They should be at least in the top 8. They should be at least number 8 right now, right? Over Atlanta.
Well, no, the Raptors
are trash.
They have lost a lot of players in the last couple of years, and they have not replaced them.
They still have Van Fleet. They still have your boy Kyle. They have Siakam.
Yeah, but they don't really have much after. They got some really decent players. Like Norman Powell's a decent player.
Right.
Boucher's a decent player. I think Van Fleet's a decent player. I think he's good. I just don't know if he moves the needle like that. But I think he's really good. And I think what he is, he's their future lead guard after Kyle Lowry leaves. Because, again, Kyle Lowry was a free agent after this season. I don't think he's coming back. But they didn't really replace – when they lost Kawhi and they lost Danny Green, they didn't really replace those guys. And then fast forward, you lose Ibaka and you lose Gasol. They really didn't replace those guys. So you're talking about, 4 guys in the last 2 years who were in the top 6, 7 in your rotation. So that's been their biggest issue is that they just haven't replaced a lot of their talent that's left.
Another team that has had a break that hasn't is the Bulls. I mean, they don't have Zach LaVine. If you want to call him a superstar, okay, I got you. Maybe not. But within the Central Division, they should be ahead of Cleveland, right? They have a lot of young talent.
Right.
They have Kobe White. They got your boy LaVine. They got Wendell Carter Jr.
Marketing. They have Patrick Williams. They have Otto Porter.
They have a lot of good players, man.
But they've got young guys who are still, I think, learning the NBA. Particularly Carl.
Has been in the league 2 years, though, right? At least 2 years. The young guys have been there for 2-3 years at least.
Right? Well, like 2 years. So I mean, like this is Kobe White's 2nd year. This is Carter's 3rd year. But those guys also, came in the league at 19. And so I wasn't expecting them to, beat the world in their first couple of years. They're still growing, as players and as young men. And now they have a new head coach in Billy Donovan. So for them, it's really their success this year is not going to be about their record. Their success this year is going to be about the growth of is Kobe White taking that next step? Is marketing taking that next step? How is Patrick Williams fitting in with those guys as a long-term, because I think he's going to be he's their long-term small forward once Otto Porter leaves. So, I think that's going to be kind of their measuring stick is how those guys are individually improving and they're growing together as a unit. Because again, they kind of made it a point not to go out and spend big money in free agency or anything like that. I think they want to just build slowly towards having a core of guys they think are part of their future. And again, they may still be 1 or 2 players away from really competing, depending on how their guys they currently have grow. But
yeah, definitely you got to keep an eye out for them, especially in the fourth quarter of the season, right? To see how they kind of surge as well. Well, another I would say disappointment for me would be the Orlando Magic.
Well, they lost Fultz for the season, and Fultz is their starting point guard, and so now they're starting Cole Anthony at point. Again, they weren't expecting him to be the starter. They're missing Jonathan Isaac, who again, big part of what they do. He's out basically for the season. I think I didn't have them as a playoff team in the East. I thought they'd miss the playoffs because they barely made the playoffs last year. But they got to figure out what their identity is as a roster and as an organization. I don't think they've had an organizational identity in 10 years, really since Dwight left. And they got to figure that out. Until they figure that out, they're not going anywhere, in all honesty.
Score alert. 127.
Oh, wow.
5 seconds, 1 second to go.
They were just literally up by 7, by 5, I think.
This is why Brooklyn. I cannot ride with them. I just don't. You cannot and win championships. You gotta get stops.
And I think they got exposed in the Milwaukee game that in the fourth quarter when they're tired, they have nobody to fill the gap or anywhere to place a body inside to prevent people from just going in there and just taking their cookies.
Yeah. Who takes the last shot? It's 1.2 seconds left. Who is going to take the last shot?
KD.
But I guess who will be? There he is. So let me introduce you to somebody right here. This is my guy, Gil. What up? So this is our resident boxing expert. I got Sean. I got J Mac. Gil. I knew them guys back at Lee. Also, 49er fan. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
now we even.
A real 49er fan?
A real one. I know fucking fair weather shit. You know what I'm saying? I had to, there's been many a phone call to where I had Gil cuss me out because I'm saying, hey, I'm still riding with Jimmy G. And the first thing he says, what the fuck you think?
Hey, it was shit. What Brady had to win six goddamn Super Bowls before you gave him
No, he still ain't to go. He still ain't to fucking go. He still ain't to fucking go.
Boy, that nigga the NFC Championship, bro.
Go. So hey, Montana made it to the AFC Championship with KC. So okay. So I got you. So if he goes Super Bowl and he wins, I got me a big old cup of hey, sit down and shut the hell up. I'll do it.
Why you ain't sit down and shut the hell up?
You know what?
When he beat goddamn whatever the number 4 was.
You know what? I'm gonna ask this question for y'all because this is an argument I have with guys.
Oh Lord!
Why do we give an individual player the GOAT status for team accomplishment?
This is leadership matters, man. Leadership matters and character matters. And so when you can have a team full of stars, if you don't have the character or the leadership, then you can't lead that team. You understand what I'm saying? That's why it's like, especially in the sense of a quarterback, the quarterback is always the leader of a team, unless you like the 2000 Ravens or the 2002 Bucks or the 85 Bears or something like that, where the quarterback really didn't matter. He was just handing the ball off. But in those cases with Tom Brady and Joe Montana, they were the heart and soul of those teams, the leadership in that team, especially Tom Brady. You know how Bill Belichick is. And I'm a 49er at heart, man. But Bill Belichick, he never paid anybody to be a star. He didn't have the Jerry Rices and the Ken Norton Juniors and all of the stars that we had. He turned quarterbacks into wide receivers. So you have to have a man of character, a man that's a purebred leader and athletic talent who came out in the 6th round, who was damn near Mr. Nobody. You got to give it. You got to hand it up to him. Or Mr. Irrelevant, whatever the last draft pick is. He didn't come out as a star. He wasn't highly drafted. He wasn't touted. He wasn't Jamarcus Russell and goddamn Ryan Leaf. And look at that draft class he came out with. Ain't none of them motherfuckers nowhere. So that's what I mean. Unless you're talking about boxing, all team sports are going to have that same that same that same kind of notion. But
Uh-oh,
there are great players.
we got Hurt in the house. Hey, Hurt, I advised them against this color, but they didn't want to listen to me. So there you go.
What's going on?
What's up, Hurt?
Oh, end of the day, 2 kids, work, school,
Hey, so listen. So I asked a group of questions. I want to get your thoughts on this. So, why do we bestow GOAT status on someone for team accomplishment?
Wow. Yeah, that is interesting.
So-
Who are we talking about in reference to the team accomplishment? Or is it just general?
Tom Brady. To me, he's not the GOAT. He's not the GOAT to me. Not yet. If he wins the Super Bowl, I'll shut up. And I got you. By the way, Gino's a diehard 49er fan, true one. So you know what I'm saying? Be careful.
For me, and this is always been my argument, I don't think there can be a universal GOAT in football because there's so many things that have to go well and so many other positions that have to do their part for you to win. Because to me, I'll tell people right now, if I put Tom Brady at corner, I bet his ass ain't the GOAT.
Good point, but
you can't put Michael Jordan at center either, though.
Well, I'm saying with basketball it's different just because the positions are more limited. You got so many different positions.
They playing offense and defense at the same time,
right? And that's what I'm saying. Tom Brady ain't playing defense, so can he be the GOAT if you only play? That's why.
So can he be the greatest quarterback of all time?
Right.
Yeah, I think you can be the greatest quarterback of all time. But
so Cisco, is he the greatest quarterback of all time?
Yeah. Would I say he's the greatest quarterback of all time?
Cisco ain't admitting that.
I'm holding on to that, bro.
Yeah, there's no way. Cisco, that's just dumb. I don't even trust him. He's just saying that to say some shit. That nigga know when he go to sleep at night, he got there and be like, fuck. You know what time it is. Tom Brady was the GOAT after the 4th Super Bowl, bro.
So here's my thing, right? Here's Tom Brady in his Super Bowl victories, right? He's never had that moment. Montana has had those moments on the biggest stages at the right time. Montana has beaten every one of his contemporaries, every one of them. Right. He has he even beat the dude that Bill Walsh was trying to trade him for. Was thinking about trading him for, aka Dan Marino.
Yeah.
He beat a young Dan Marino. He beat 2 Boomer Esiasons, and he beat a fucking Elway. His biggest accomplishment, I would say, is Elway. Who is Boomer Esiason, dog? Let's just be honest. The 86, the 84 and the 86 Cincinnati Bengals, from the AFC, and those were tough games. But I'm saying, it goes back to what my man said, and don't get me wrong, bro. Prior to Tom Brady, because that's the same argument with LeBron and Jordan. Everybody always cites the rings, right? They cite the ring. They use the Jordan argument, and the only argument is the fucking ring. Well, if that holds true, and which in most cases motherfuckers do, it's 6-4. It's a blowout. And in those 6 rings by Tom Brady, I mean, he hasn't had. I mean, you could say the Rams was a moment. You know what I mean? That was a 3-3 game up to the fucking last quarter. You could say the Atlanta game was a moment.
Yeah,
I'll give him the Atlanta game. That's just one moment. John Taylor in the back of the end zone. But every other victory besides that has been on their kicker. One, I guess, great as of right now, probably one of the greatest kickers of all time when it comes to the NFL until he retires.
Tucker fucked it up. He probably lost that last week.
It was the win.
Yeah,
well,
either way.
Yeah. But I've always said people about Tom Brady. I said, listen, if you look at all of Tom Brady's Super Bowl, the best he's ever played in the Super Bowl, they lost. That Philly Super Bowl is the best he from start to finish. He's ever played in the Super Bowl, and they lost.
But look at the other 2 that he lost, though. We would be talking about an eight Super Bowl champion if it wasn't for David Tyree on a fucking helmet catch and Mario Manningham took it to him on the outside.
Yeah, on the
with
sideline.
with on a New York Giant defense with Michael Strahan.
I mean, easy
The
to make
first
that argument too, but you also got to look at the Marshawn Lynch not getting the damn ball. He
Yep.
loses that one.
Right.
I mean, that was the dumbest call ever.
Yeah.
And you know, I
Right,
hate
but
to
I'm
say
saying these teams, if you in the Super Bowl, man, these teams ain't to beat. Like, there's not been any blowouts outside of the San Francisco blowout of Denver, and then the Seahawks blowout of Denver.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
we scored 55 on Denver in 94, whatever year it was.
Right.
You know, the Niners beat the Chargers. The Niners beat the Chargers. That was a blowout. That game was over before halftime.
But I'm saying, but point wise, it was 55 on Denver.
Yeah, 55.
Yeah, Denver only scored 7 points, I think.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Like, so
55.
when you got two people in the Super Bowl, it ain't gonna be just a walk in the park. It's the reason that they outlasted everybody else in their conference. So
Right.
if he's not winning in high flying fashion every time, that still don't take away from his leadership of the game. And then you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I get it. Like, these dudes were made stars because they were on these Bill Belichick, Tom Brady teams. They weren't. There was no defensive MVPs, and he probably was the fucking MVP of all 6 games that he won.
Yeah, I'll say this about Brady.
Tom Brady?
Yeah,
I'll say this about
I'm not
Brady.
sure.
I
I'm not a sports commentator. I'm not sure, but all 6 Super
Yeah,
Bowls.
I mean, Deion Branch won one an MVP. I mean, I think he did win Super Bowl MVP a couple times, but it wasn't at the same time.
Okay,
He got 4 though, right? Maybe he got 4. Got 3 or 4.
I think he has 3.
that's a goddamn lot, bro. That's half.
Edelman got one.
Yeah, he got.
Yeah, he got one because your boy's passing it to him.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
He
Like,
made a hell of a catch though in that Atlanta game though. He made a hell of a catch.
he saved them in that Rams game. Like, because Brady did not look great.
Oh yeah. Edelman did. Well, yeah, I remember
He
that.
did not look good. He looked old.
How about the tuck rule? They never even get past Oakland. If it weren't for that damn bullshit ass call, there is no Tom Brady.
That's a great point, Hart. It's a great point because you don't have those arguments. You don't have those seances against Montana. You don't have those excuses. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Tough
Right.
rule.
Hold on, Cisco. Hold on.
I'm gonna go on mute.
Nah, you ain't got to. Montana was a great quarterback, but let's not act like he never did nothing wrong. We kind of like to glorify our favorite players, so we think that's the best. But if we just keep it real, look, Tom Brady, I've never been a fan, but I respect his game. Tom Brady, he looked old against what Super Bowl? You was just talking about it, Sean.
The Rams.
Yeah, the Rams, but he didn't look old last week.
He capitalized on turnovers like a good quarterback.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm gonna tell you right now, that defense is not that special. I don't know what the fuck was going on with Drew Brees, but Aaron Rodgers ain't making them same mistakes.
I already said that.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers he ain't throwing 3 picks in a game, bro.
Yeah, I'm with
you. And they were 3. It might have been 1 tip. The other 2 was complete misreads by a quarterback.
Bad throw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so you're not getting that. So you might so that's an example of we done scored 30, but 21 of them points was off legit, or 24 of those points was off legit turnovers.
And Fournette played his ass off.
And not only that, those turnovers were all on New Orleans side of the field. So basically,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you giving them the ball.
I think, except for the last drive of the first half, the Bucs didn't have to drive the field. I mean, Tom Brady threw for 199. It was 18 for 33, 199 yards. That ain't killing it. That ain't exactly.
No, I'm not saying that. I was saying late in the game. If you remember, to key late third down, his receivers made some hell of a catches, but he made a couple of throws.
Yeah, he made a couple of good throws
late in the game that really helped them to win that game.
Yeah, I'm not taking it away from him. I'm just saying that I don't know if they won the game so much as New Orleans lost the game.
Oh, New Orleans lost it for sure. I told you earlier that I didn't have any faith in New Orleans. I didn't have none. Even though they beat them twice in the regular season, I was like, nah.
And if we
They
want
haven't,
to be
been playing, they haven't been playing that good football to me. Drew Brees he's just old, man. Now that's an old guy.
now,
He's done.
I'm gonna say this: Anthony Mackie, who's from New Orleans, actor, was on Rich Eisen show yesterday, and he said he's the first person to say it. He said Sean Payton would rather lose with Drew Brees than win with Jameis Winston.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. But that's the same thing we was talking about with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is another. They're gonna go down with the ship.
Yeah,
they're gonna run them till the wheels fall off.
Yeah, and if you hurt, you love that because again, that's helping your team.
Absolutely. The wheels fell off Big Ben.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And shield them with that 2.5 second quick passing game. You see where it got him.
But think about this for a second while we're on the Steelers. Have you ever remembered in your lifetime where you watched the Steelers and said the Steelers do not run the football?
Nope.
Right.
Nope.
That's what I'm saying. They I don't know what, Yeah.
Yeah,
They were a power running team, and they always kept it, and that's always been their identity through Bill Cowher and you know what I'm saying, your boy Ben, Ben throwing it 50 some times a game, man, and he played horribly too.
Yeah.
They needed to do to Ben what Denver did to John Elway. They needed Terrell Davis because John Elway wasn't throwing the ball over the field like that late in his career. He couldn't.
No.
TD,
right? But I mean, they started they had Le'Veon Bell. Yeah. You know what I mean? They had a run game plan, and then even this Connor kid, the game plan had just changed, and I can't remember who they beat. As far as them going 11-0, if they beat any playoff contenders in that run, but when they dropped them 3, or they beat the Colts. I think they beat the Colts in the nail biter.
They did, and they beat the Titans too.
Yeah, they did.
The Titans made a run. Made a great run off. Yeah, the Titans defense that's something. Big shout out to my cousin Cameron Batson, wide receiver number 13 for the Titans.
Yeah,
Connor. I think Connor was fool's gold for them.
Yeah, he's fool's gold.
He started off looking like he's the answer,
like the Terminator. Yeah, and then he just faded away. Yeah.
I can't believe Brooklyn lost this game.
By 12.
Yeah.
Colin Sexton gave him 45.
Exactly. I just watched it. The Nets need to learn how to play some defense.
We was asking about that. What we're asking about as far as your biggest surprises within the NBA season within the first 30 days. We're trying to get your opinion on that one. And G, next week, same question to you, bro.
Well, like I said, I mean, I'm almost kind of done with the NBA with these mini all-star teams. Everyone's looking for the next big 3, big 4, whatever. But, chemistry is everything. And I go back to even when, I say fucking LeBron started this, even when he got to Miami with Wade and Bosh, they didn't win until they learned how to play together. And I just think for the Nets, they put 3 of the greatest scorers, ever on the team. And they're like, okay, but this ain't street ball. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to get everyone's best because people get sick and tired of hearing them in clippings. So the biggest surprise to me early in the season is Giannis stayed in Milwaukee. He's doomed. He's never going to get out the East. 2, the injuries and impact in a game. And 3, this super team and how, franchise players can just force their way out of contracts. I mean, they give these kids and players all this money. And you can just make up your mind and just be an asshole, and then all of a sudden you get your way out. Like, no, I like the old days when the superstars tried to beat other superstars. Everyone's too friendly these days.
Go ahead, Cisco.
No, I was going. That's another conversation as far as like how the AAU style tournaments and those ball games.
It's the AAU
transform that because there's no more high school rivalries, right?
Yeah.
No. But G, go ahead, bro. I don't care, Mo. Gil?
Yeah, so I'll be honest, man. I'm not a big NBA fan. I probably started watching it around Game 70, but just some of the so I haven't watched any game this year. But I'm like my man. I just don't understand how the chemistry in with Kyrie Irving and KD and James Harden is going to work out. But again, there was nobody on the Toronto Raptors team except for Kawhi Leonard. And you know what I'm saying, the rest of those guys were regular pedestrian guys, and they beat a good solid squad. You know what I'm saying? So even if you stack those teams, man, even when LeBron's first I think 1-1 lost one, 1-1 lost one in Miami.
Yeah.
But he was beat. They got beat by the San Antonio Spurs and the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah.
And those were not damn super teams. So the super team ain't always the answer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I agree.
I think the Warriors probably stick to Herc's point the best. You have to do your due diligence in getting and drafting players that fit your system, and or if you draft the players, making sure that your system fits what they do best. And I think the Warriors currently the Warriors under Steve Kerr and previously under Mark Jackson embodied that from jump. So because all of them were pretty much underdogs. Even Draymond Green, Steph Curry. Nobody understand why. I think he was drafted number. He was number 8 overall.
7.
Yeah.
Number 7.
Yeah.
Number 7. So number 7. So and a small kick from out Davidson. You know what I'm saying? So nobody believed in him, and that was the one thing Nelly did for the Warriors. That was awesome.
I would say the 2015 Warriors are the last pure NBA champions. Like we got to see them go through.
But what about the rap? Like I said, with the Raptors came out of nowhere, and yeah.
I'm saying, like, in terms of you had a group of guys who were basically together, kind of came up together, like and then they have the draft where they get Clay, and then they have the next draft where they get Harrison Barnes and Draymond and Ezeli. Like, you got to see that team kind of come together, like, from a pure standpoint. They didn't make a major trade to put them over the top.
Right.
Like San Antonio.
Right, and really,
I think they're the last pure NBA, and that's why it was so easy to root for them, because you got to see them kind of go through the process. They had to make a coaching change to get there, but in terms of their roster, their players, it was pretty organic how they played.
Right. And again, those no one. Listen, I didn't watch. If I don't watch pro ball, I definitely don't watch college basketball. So I didn't know who Steph Curry was. But I think the same can be said about the transition from the 04 Lakers, which was a super team prior to LeBron doing that shit, because they brought in, Karl Malone and the glove and all of that shit, and they still lost to a regular Piston. Piston team. But you saw them through free agency and draft come up, and 4 years of being down, and then next thing you know, here's another a decent team in 2008 and 2010. You know what I mean? With Paul, with just regular Paul Gasol and those guys, man. But that's why a lot of you got to give it up to some of these athletes, man. To go back to your GOAT question or your GOAT statement, because when you see guys like Kobe Bryant, like, he ain't never fucking had a whole bunch of stars around him, and he stayed with the team. You know what I'm saying, through that down period. I don't know who was dominating between 04 and 08, probably the Spurs or somebody, I forgot. But he's just waited his turn, and through free agency and through drafts and all of that shit, he built that team around him.
You had the Spurs, you had the Pistons in there.
He win one.
It was chunky in there.
It was
might have got the Ray Allen, KG, Rondo. I think they might have got one in there too.
They got the 08.
No, it was 08.
Yeah, right. So Kobe went. I think they went 3 in a row, because he lost to the Celtics, then he beat the Magic, and then he came back and beat the Celtics.
Yeah. Okay.
So he had it, but that's what I'm saying. It wasn't no, I'm gonna bounce from fucking team to team, and then I'm gonna go grab the most talented people out there available. And like you said, man, with free agency, the way these contracts are structured and built, damn near player friendly. The same thing going on with Deshaun Watson. I'm like, he talking all that shit, man. He ain't getting out of, like, I don't think he gets out of Houston. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But, I don't see how James Harden got out of Houston.
Right.
I think it's because, and it's two things that changed first, so after 2000, when they redid the collective bargaining agreement, the owners argued for shorter contracts because you had teams signing these guys to these 6 and 7 year deals and basically getting stuck. So you had like the Knicks, for example, who signed Allen Houston to this long 6 year, $100+ million contract, and his knees were gone and they were stuck with it. And so they basically collective bargained for shorter deals, but by shortening the deals, it gave the power to the players because the players are basically able to say, I'm in the last year of my deal. I'm not going to re-sign. I want to be traded, or you can trade me, but you got to trade me somewhere where I'm open to re-signing, because if you trade me somewhere that I'm not open to re-signing, that team's not going to give you all the assets you want for me. So that's where the power of the players shifted.
Right.
That's the problem. That's a problem. That's a problem. The player option is a problem. And because you can't trade a superstar on his last year of his deal and expect him to sign with just anybody that you trade him to.
Right. But that's
where
that's what he's saying. But my thing is this: there is a counter to that, but they'll never agree to it. They should not be the team that you get traded to should be allowed to match any offer.
So you mean automatically kicks in restricted free agency for a guy to get traded?
It turns into a restricted situation. If that player is on his last year of his deal, then it should turn into like a restricted situation where to give that opportunity to that team who traded for him, an opportunity to keep that player.
So Cisco, I'm gonna cut you 1 second. So the team they get traded to does have a certain power because they get that player's bird rights, which means they can sign that player to a longer deal and they can exceed the cap in order to re-sign that guy. So that team does have a certain level of power, but it always goes back to what does the player want to do long term.
Look, if I was Houston Rockets, I would not have just traded James Harden to the Brooklyn Nets because he wanted to go there. They had assets that they could have got regardless. Kyrie is not on his last year of his deal. They could have traded for Kyrie. They could have.
They could have, but where Harden had the power is Harden is not in the last year of his deal, but Harden has a player option on his contract, which
that's what I'm getting at.
So
those players with those player options, that's I'm not gonna say it's too much power because I don't want it to sound like a plantation thing. Right. Because I like players having, being able to go, have some control and power, unlike the NFL.
Right.
But you can cripple a team and you can destroy teams. You can set back a team for generation, for a whole era, just because a player start crying.
Right.
No.
Go ahead, Cisco.
I ain't with it.
Let me caveat too, because I think J-Mac made an excellent point. That was where I was going with this. So you have two dichotomies, right? You have two different leagues, and I understand that the personnel in this room, as far as what we do for a living, what we've done for a living, prior to this. You have the NBA, you have the NFL. 70% of it is made up of African Americans, right? And how many times have you heard? You take the Dak Prescott situation. You can take the Vince Wilfork when he was in New England situation, and you just say, "Why aren't you guys giving this contract? He's played his ass off for you." Not only that, you're at a greater risk of permanent injury to your body and to your well-being for the rest of your life by playing in the NFL. Now, on the other side of it, same situation, but where the players have the option, have the power. So I'm just trying to figure out where is that happy medium at? Where do we go? Because me personally, I agree with what MC said as far as, in reference to the James Harden thing. I got you, but at least they were able to get some draft capital back. The problem I have though also is, if you send a player to that type of team, what are you really getting? Although I understand that they have the pick swap, so therefore if Houston has a higher pick, then obviously they'll go with their own picks. That's the only problem. So where do we go to, or how do you figure that part out to where I don't know if you can appease everybody or anybody at all, but on one side of the grass, on one side of the tracks, you have, hey, look, the players, the players have the options. They have the mobility you requested, you need. On the other side, now you guys, you're in a contract, and guess what? You sign when you're a first rounder, you sign a 5-year deal. And after that, if they're not sure if they want you or not, they're going to franchise tag. At least up to 3 times. Is that correct?
In the NFL, it's usually up to 3 times that they do it. But a team can pretty much do it as long as the player is okay with it. Yeah, it's really up to them. Hurt, you got something on this?
Well, it's right. I mean, again, the owners have too much power. So I do side with the players, for the financial stability. But again, just for me in general, I think some of the contracts are just getting ridiculous. I mean, they just are, because it's always the one-up guy. I mean, honestly, as great as Patrick Mahomes is, I love the dude. You know what I'm saying? He's phenomenal. But he's not worth $500 million. I'm sorry. He's just not. He plays one position. But again, earning potential, selling tickets and power, and he's only 24. But I mean, it's just crazy, the money they get.
I like what you just said. I never thought of the Mahomes contract as a football contract. No. I looked at that as a pure organizational contract.
Right.
Because they know damn well he ain't going nowhere. They got him locked in, and they're gonna milk that cow for a long time.
As they should.
Yeah, a long time. You talk about ownership?
Yeah.
They own that motherfucker.
But I mean, if you think about Mahomes, and like I say, he's 24, and what he's done in his first 4 years in the NFL, all the success he's had, nobody seems to think it's going to go anywhere anytime soon. Kansas City, they're a good franchise, but they had never reached that pinnacle. They hadn't reached that pinnacle in almost 50 years before he gets there. And it's like, yeah, we want to milk this cow. We want to ride this thing to the end. So again, I go back to what you said, MC. It is an organizational contract. It's an organizational thing. With Harden and Houston, I think it was the same thing. I think they were viewed as, listen, this guy has a great value to our franchise. He's box office. He sells tickets. People are coming out to see him. So let's make sure we take care of him. And they offered him a 2-year, $100 million extension when he was unhappy, and he said no. Mm-hmm. And for him, and this is not a guy who's known to turn down money, because he liked the strip club. Like, he want to go in the strip club and throw up.
Like the wing, baby.
So he's not a guy who's about money. Like, he likes his money. Like, he gave a grown man a bag full of money and some honey buns.
Well, here's what I would say about that contract, though.
Mahomes did that?
What'd you say?
You said Mahomes did that?
No, Harden.
Harden. Nah, the thing about that contract, I tell you what it didn't do. It didn't set a standard for teams to pay their quarterbacks. That contract was so outrageous. Any other team in the NFL is like, oh, I ain't doing that shit.
So before I go to you, I want to go to Hurt real quick, because you got a quarterback.
Yep.
You're going to come up for an extension.
Yep.
I don't think he's going to get a Mahomes deal. I think I think he's going to get in that $40 to $45 million range, for his contract. How are you looking at that organizationally?
Organizationally, he's earned an extension. Lamar's making $3 million on his rookie deal still. And if you look at accomplishments and how quarterbacks are valued, you got to have a resume. And what he's got on his resume, based on the quarterbacks he was just drafted with, he came in with, Baker, Darnold, Allen, Josh Rosen, all 4 were taken ahead of him. Yeah. If you just look at those alone, none of them have the resume. I mean, Josh Allen's is still writing his this year, but none of them been an MVP. None of them have taken their teams to the playoffs, and now he's got his first playoff win.
Right.
So, and he's 24 as of last week.
Just turned 24.
Yeah. So based on that, I see. I want to go to more the Kirk Cousins route. I mean, Kirk Cousins didn't deserve it, but more guaranteed money. You know, to go to the shorter deals and things of that nature because, you know, once you get paid as the franchise quarterback, look at Russell Wilson. The Legion of Boom went away. You know, they've been a great regular season. I mean, again, you don't have the money to put the tools around you to get you over the top. Like, you have to win on your quarterback's rookie contract, unless, you know, or whatever, because it just gets to bite you. But I see Lamar in the realm of what Deshaun Watson got because, you know, even Deshaun Watson's resume. I mean, he's got the passing statistics and things of that nature. But if we're looking at the wins, Lamar's got more wins than anyone before, you know, at his age. So you have to, you know, reward that. He's you know, 30-7. Mind you, that's a lot of regular season success. But, you know, look at Carson Wentz. I mean, wow. What has he got? I mean, he's at 126 mil, 30-something million a year. So Lamar's got to be in that 40 to 41 because he's earned it.
Right.
Yeah. And you pay him that money. Because like I said, he is a cornerstone piece as far as quarterback's concerned. Like, you take him, you put him in Cleveland's in the Super Bowl.
Right.
Take him, put him on the Niners. It's a hell of a Super Bowl.
Gotcha.
We beat the Chiefs.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, so that's just me. And Herc knows I've been going. Me and him go back. We go blow for blow when it comes to Ravens versus 49ers. That's neither here nor there. But I want to go back just really quick to circle back to another thing too, as far as why the NFL can't do what the NBA does or hasn't. One, I don't think the NFL is starting a league in any other country. NBA is starting NBA Africa.
Right.
That's awesome. Part two, obviously, each of those superstars, you know, the top 10 superstars of the league, Giannis, James Harden, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and who else we can throw in that loop. They are globally recognized. If Deshaun Watson goes to Japan right now, nobody know who he is, but they'll know who Steph Curry is.
Absolutely.
Right. The helmets.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, even with the helmets, I have several channels that, you know, I have some British channels, some British sports channels.
Right.
And they'll show a game or two. They'll show a playoff game for the NFL.
Right.
Yeah.
But they really show NBA.
So
they show the NBA.
The reason why I say the helmet thing, because you remember back in the day, like when Brett Favre and Emmitt Smith, like if they do something crazy or great in the game, they take their helmet off,
right?
Celebrate, and the NFL took that rule, made that rule where they couldn't take their helmets off on the field.
Yeah,
I thought it was the worst thing the NFL could have done because I said that's how your league grows when people recognize your players. But the NFL is still very, very old school in a lot of its thinking in that they want to market teams and not individual players. They'll market the brand. Quarterbacks now, but they don't want to market. They don't want to market individual players. And I've often thought the biggest issue with the NFL, particularly with their salary cap, is two things. Number one, if you're a league who pays players based on their position and not their value to the franchise, your salary cap situation has to grow because once you, like you said, to you guys' point, once you pay these quarterbacks, the rest of your team basically is left getting, 80 to, sometimes in some cases, 83% of the cap because your quarterback is eating up that much of the cap.
Yep.
So I think the NFL's got to do two things. Number one, you need a separate salary cap for your quarterback because if you're paying those guys all that money, you need a separate cap for them. But then the second thing is, and this is where NFL players make the argument, NBA players get paid based on their value to the franchise, not based on their position. So they're not saying, oh, well, this guy at this position got this amount of money. So, this guy, Rudy Gobert just got $205 million. So the next center is going to get $210 million because Rudy Gobert got paid $205. That's not how it works. The NFL does it like that. So And that's a big part of the problem. It's like stop paying guys based on their position, pay them based on their value to the franchise.
I wish the NFL would adopt Major League's no salary cap, but that would kill small market teams as well. But you know, because you hurt teams. I mean, I'm gonna hit on Baltimore. We draft very, very well, and every year we've got that become cap casualties at the linebacker position, at the running back, like literally, because we're so good at scouting. These guys play themselves out of Baltimore because the salary cap in the NFL, you can't keep all your draft picks that come up third and fourth year.
It's that hard cap that's the problem. The NBA they don't have a hard cap, they have a soft cap, and then the luxury tax. But rules allow you to exceed the cap to retain your guys. So if you draft a guard in the 4th round and you got him for 4 years on his rookie deal and he's a starter, he becomes a Pro Bowler, becomes an All-Pro, you should be allowed to exceed the cap to keep that guy. Yeah. Why can't you exceed the cap to keep that guy, given that you developed him, you grew him? It's not like you're going out on the free agent market and exceeding the cap. This is somebody who's homegrown. And I don't know why the NFL hadn't figured that out yet.
They need to, like the bird rights in the NBA. You drafted him homegrown. I just get sick and tired. Like, we got to make a choice between Yannick Ngakoue and Matt Judon. Both of them would be wonders for us, but we can't afford to pay them both because we got Orlando Brown, who's going to need a massive extension after we just paid Stanley.
Right.
Lamar coming up. We got to pay it. Like, we just cut Mark Ingram, for $5 million. To pay people. I just, it's the ugly side, of the NFL. But on the flip side, I don't know how Kansas City gets away with it. How do you fucking pay Chris Jones, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill? Like, what are they doing that the rest of the NFL's not?
So what they're doing is they're structuring those deals where those guys get a lot of their money through roster bonuses, signing bonuses, things like that. So with Pat Mahomes' case, his cap number actually isn't that large. And even like Deshaun Watson, for example, next year Deshaun Watson's only making $10 million.
Oh yeah, in the cap, yeah,
on the cap, because they structured the deal so they could still, add pieces around it. He got a huge check for signing that deal.
Yeah,
so how you get around is you got to have an owner who says, "I'm okay, depositing $38 million the day we sign this deal in this guy's account," because and you got a lot of guys who aren't willing to do that. The Chiefs, the Hunts, they're willing to do that because, again, they realize their core is built to be competitive for the next few years.
Yeah.
I'll say this to your suggestion that the free agents, not free agents, but the quarterbacks should have their own cap.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot of quarterbacks get their ass whooped. They already think that they already, above the team. A lot of them do.
Right.
I've been in some locker rooms that, the quarterback, it's a thin line. He got to walk a fine line of getting along with everybody. Right. But the great ones do. But I'm speaking on the ones where, you got a hot shot quarterback coming out of college. You know what I'm saying? He been the man his whole life, and he gonna go in this locker room with these grown men.
Yeah, you gonna learn, bro.
That I'm the man shit.
Right.
Yeah,
you gonna learn
because he got his own contract. Hell, you might well give him his own locker room. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, when Brett Favre was with the Jets, allegedly he didn't dress with the rest of the team. He dressed separately from everybody else.
Look at Chicago's quarterback. He probably needed security half the time he was with the franchise.
You talking about Jay
Cutler?
Yeah.
He's an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's an asshole with his own everything. I make my money is different from your money.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, one thing too, if I'm the quarterback, right, I'm making sure my O-line is taken care of.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do out of my own pocket, out of my own contract. I'm making sure my O-line guys are taken care of.
Yeah.
Right.
Because those quarterbacks, they really only have to worry about those guys.
I like that. I like that, but I don't like it. here's where I'm gonna get serious. What I don't like about things like that, the NFL got enough money to pay these motherfucking linemen.
Mhm.
The team and organization should be able to pay those linemen where a quarterback can show appreciation to his line, like you're saying. But a lot of those linemen, they're not getting that money like that.
What's crazy?
On the tackles.
Every year,
Yep.
Every
Left tackles
year.
especially.
when they do the revenue sharing for all 32 teams, each team usually gets a check somewhere between 280 and 300 million dollars. The salary cap is only about 200 million dollars
Mm.
for 53 guys.
Mm. And
That's
it's going to I think it's going to 175 next year.
going to come down because of the lost revenues with, with the ticket sales.
It's a bad deal. They're gonna be playing two-hand.
Wait. Let me make sure I have that right. You're saying that revenue sharing,
Right.
the team,
every single team gets a check.
Gets an extra check.
Every team gets a check from the NFL every year for revenue sharing. That's usually somewhere between 280 and 300 million dollars.
Mhm.
That's not extra. That's for this distribution.
That's for the distribution per team.
Team.
So how the team decides to use that money is really up to them. But the salary cap is usually far less than that. So again, like the salary cap this year, I think was $191 million. It's going to come down to that. I think it's about a 175.
Yep.
Where it's going to come down.
Oh, Jim G's going.
The NFL has always played that takes money to make money.
Yeah.
They give that money, so they get his organization this money, Cisco, and say, here's your money, your front money. Now see what you can do with it.
Right.
But we're gonna get our cut.
Right. Because again, these teams don't have to spend money. Like they don't have to. They know they're gonna get that $300 million every year from the NFL.
And it's not like they own the stadium. They may be in partnership with the stadium or within whoever sponsors it, like the SoFi or the whatever the Raider and slash the Raider stadium and the Rams slash Charger stadium. So I mean, it's not like they're pulling a whole lot of money just to pay for that stadium either, man. It's just, I just don't get it.
It is the absolute craziest argument when you got taxpayer dollars that are already stretched thin as it is that are building stadiums. When you have guys who are worth, in some cases, 10 or 15 billion dollars, who can finance stadiums and use those and make their revenue back with those stadiums
easily.
Renting them out for concerts during the off season or whatever. Those stadiums get used constantly, so it's not like you don't make your revenue back.
Yeah, I mean, throw a couple hot, throw a couple of iHeartRadio or iHeart concerts in there. You have come on, exactly.
It's like Steve Ballmer, the owner of the Clippers. The stadium he's building, he's privately financing. He's not asking for a single taxpayer dollar.
Nope.
He's building in Inglewood. Him doing that's going to generate jobs, going to generate revenue, and there's no cost to the taxpayer.
He took the farm, didn't he?
He
took the farm, didn't he?
I think he did get control of the farm from.
No. So I thought because originally the Madison Square Garden interest group controlled the forum, and they were suing to keep the Clippers there. He won that. I think he won that lawsuit to finally break away from that to have his own stadium. I think.
Yeah.
A lot of money there. Look at fucking. I hate his ass, Jerry Jones. He gets the fucking Final Four or March Madness in Texas Stadium. I mean, goodness gracious.
In every fight, he gets it all.
Yeah.
He hosted NBA All-Star Weekend in 2010. The game that was at that Dallas Stadium.
Right.
100,000 people at an All-Star game.
Right. Just ridiculous.
Yeah. So but hey, these are conversations that we can spend all night on. I know we're getting up here to time. So before we get ready to roll, you know how we close this thing out.
Top five.
Yeah.
Top 10. Top 5.
Anybody got top 5 they want to do tonight?
You say top 5?
Yeah. So basically, well, Cisco, you can explain it.
So basically, we we all agree on a subject, and for last time we were on, we did a top 5 or top 10 hip hop artists, top 5 movies or whatever like that. So we all kind of coordinate, or we all agree to a subject, and then we just try and poke holes in each other's list. For example, I don't want to continue on with it. See how J Max shaking his head. Sean M. Web has listen to me now, a top 10 list of hip hop art. Tupac's number 11.
Woo!
Now we can discuss. We can say, but the people he has in front, I got a problem with.
Yeah.
The problem is he has a great rapper named Kendrick Lamar at number 10, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Yes.
Number 10.
Who's
Kendrick,
number 9? Who's number 9?
I think Ice Cube was number 9, right?
Yeah.
That's just sacrilegious. I mean, technically you should be banned from hip hop.
It's not
sacrilegious. But that's how we do that. We put a top 5 subject, and then we try and poke holes because the argument lasts about 30 minutes, and we kind of get some good laughs out of it. Or we just start questioning people's morals and fucking.
We don't make it 30 minutes. Y'all an hour behind me. It's 10:30.
Yeah, I'm on your time, Herc, because I'm in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, question. I think I got a top 5. I know we were talking movies the other day, and the Eddie Murphy comment topic came up. So I need everybody's top 5 Eddie Murphy movies.
I don't have a top 5 Eddie Murphy.
I don't either.
You don't have a top 5 Eddie Murphy movies?
I got a top 2.
I got 3.
Can you include a stand-up?
No, I got a top 5 Eddie Murphy.
I got a top 5 Eddie Murphy. It was a stand-up in the theater because Raw was in the theater.
Yeah, that's early Eddie. But my number 1 Eddie Murphy movie is Harlem Nights, even though I think that's one of the greatest comedies ever. He's not the main star there. 2, another classic. You got to go Coming to America. I'm anxiously waiting for that one to come out. 3, I'm a little bit of old school. I was a big Beverly Hills Cop, things of that nature. I'd probably say the original one. They got a little cheesy as he remade it. 4, another class, The Nutty Professor. A lot of laughs. I got a lot of name. People make fun of my name because of that goddamn movie. Yeah, there you go, Cisco. And then number 5 for me is one of his early joints, The Golden Child.
Good movie. Yeah.
Those are my top 5.
Yeah, I agree. My top 5 is almost identical to hers. So I may throw Life over
that one too.
Yeah, so I may throw Life over that.
Okay.
It's just I think unless anybody disagrees. But no, I'm sorry. Let me cut you off. But whoever's next, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No. My list is almost identical to hers. So.
Oh, okay. You'll see.
Yeah, I got Life. Actually, I got Coming to America, Harlem Nights. Here's where it gets a little shaky for me. I like Norbit, man.
Yeah.
Norbit was funny as shit.
It is.
Norbit was funny as hell. Norbit was like a CB4 type movie to me. It's just, if you was just doing nothing on a Sunday and you was flipping through channels and you see that shit, it'll make you just stop for a second and then you wind up watching the whole damn movie because it's funny and retarded. Look at Sean. It ain't worse than Tupac not in your top 10.
No, that's far worse.
Oh hell no, nowhere near. And
Norbert was so bad it went straight to audio.
You know what? I'm a man. I'm gonna stand on my own too. I don't give a damn if it went to straight. If it went to the archives,
Yeah.
the shit is funny. You laughed off of it before. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
No, I didn't.
Matter of
I
fact,
couldn't finish the movie.
matter of fact, how is it not a good enough movie to quote shit off of? If you want to quote some stuff,
I mean, the only quotable thing from Norbert is "How you doing?" When Rasputin, how you doing?
Rasputin.
Oh man, okay.
but there was a movie. Oh, you know what? I'm taking Norbert out because I forgot all about it. Boomerang.
Woo!
Boomerang was a hell of a movie for me.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, man. You know, that's one of those reference movies.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
That
saying?
was like a blueprint movie, actually. You can kind of, if you wanted to be a player,
And it had Martin. And it had Martin in it. You know what I'm saying? That's like the double whammy for me.
David Allen and Halle Berry in it. That's all I needed.
Yeah.
That was hey. Now, Halle Berry. That's the early Halle Berry before we found out she was crazy. But still.
And hey, and I'm gonna quote Big Daddy Kane. That bitch Miss Givens.
Yeah.
Hey, Miss Givens was looking right, man. She was all right. She was all right.
I mean, yeah. That's your 5.
Yeah, that's my 5.
All right, yeah. For me, number 1 is Coming to America.
Okay.
I think it's brilliant. I'm so excited for the next one.
You gotta show them the shirt, bro. You gotta show them the shirt.
Yeah, I will get it in 1 second. I promise.
What shirt?
I'll show up. I'm gonna get it. Yeah, Cisco lost a bet, and anyway, yeah, number 1 is Coming to America. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Eddie Murphy's not in my, he's not in my pantheon. So,
I mean, so I don't have him in my pantheon of stand-ups, but in terms of comedy movies, his movies, I think are, particularly his earlier stuff. Number 2 for me is Trading Places. I think Trading Places.
That was a good movie. That was a good movie.
Hilarious.
I've seen that multiple times.
It's still funny.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still funny to me. Number 3, I'm actually gonna go off the map a little bit. I like Dolomite Is My Name.
Oh hell!
Dolomite? I like Dolomite.
It was good though.
Yeah.
I like it.
He was Rudy Ray Moore in that movie. He became Rudy Ray Moore. He did it. Like it's just I'm like
I give it to you. I give you that.
Yeah, he's the man with that. Number 4 is Beverly Hills Cop. Again.
Yeah.
The fact that the movie wasn't even written for him, it was written for Sylvester Stallone originally, and then he took it to that.
Yeah.
It's just.
Yeah, Stallone would have ruined that movie because there was no way it could have been funny. It had to be like a hardcore action movie.
Yeah, it had to be a hardcore action movie, and I think that movie to me was like the real first action comedy. It was just if you really go back and think about it, there weren't a lot of action comedies before that where it was like the action was as good as the comedy. Like you had
that was the time too. But during that time, I'm sorry to interrupt, but during that 80 time frame, it was action. It had 1 or 3 people in it. It had Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bruce Willis. That was the if you had during the 80s, you had the Die Hards, you had the Conans, you had the Terminators, you had
Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris.
Hey, but as far as the scale, as far as blockbuster, it was really honestly just those 3 guys that really kind of you had to compete with.
Yeah.
What's your number 5?
Number 5 for me is actually Nutty Professor. I just think
you ain't got Life in your top 10 or 5.
Life is close. For me, life is there are moments where I laugh at life, but life is actually kind of sad when you think about. And I think about it from the perspective of as a black man being accused of something you didn't do and paying for a crime, like that. That's why I enjoy life. Life has its funny moments, but it pisses me off at points when I watch it because
it's a lot to it.
It's a lot to it. So, yeah.
You left out Harlem Nights though. How you do that?
What's funny about Harlem Nights for me? It's not that I don't dislike Harlem Nights. The pacing of Harlem Nights is very slow. So it doesn't have its moments where you laugh or it's joke. It's just a very slow paced movie. you know, with comedy, I think you got to just bring it. And honestly, I think, and I don't mean to cut you off, see.
No, you good?
I think there are things that they probably could have put in Harlem Nights that weren't in the script. When you got all those funny people together,
Man, so you talking about like the pantheon of great black comedians.
Black comedians like Robin Harris and Red Fox, like those guys they just make you laugh.
Pryor,
you know, like you just. I mean, it was
It needs a remake. It needs a remake for sure.
I don't know. I don't know if you can do that. I don't know if you can do that.
It would be hard without messing up the first one.
I mean, Charlie Murphy. Yeah, he had 5 seconds, but Charlie Murphy's impact today is different.
You had Arsenio Hall in there too.
Yeah, Arsenio Hall. That was a great scene too.
Yeah, it was great. Great scene.
You know what? I'm going to bring up a movie, my sleeper, which I would love to put in my top 5, but a lot of people didn't even watch this movie. But Mr. Church.
I saw it.
I didn't watch it.
Mr. Church was a good ass movie for me.
It's a drama.
For me, it was.
It's a drama, but it's a good movie.
It's very slow. You got to pay attention to it. But as far as role diversity, I mean versatility, playing that role, seeing Eddie Murphy playing that role was real good. He had to really switch it up to play that role. He ain't hardly talk.
And see, for me, in Dreamgirls, he was like that, where he did it, like he brought it.
Yeah, Dreamgirls was good.
Yeah, he brought it. Like he and Jennifer Hudson carried that movie.
Carried it.
Yeah,
I could see that.
Yeah.
So I know everybody's we're gonna get off here. I got you. So one more, and then this is gonna be your top 5. Give me the worst 2 movies that you've ever seen in your life that you were just like, why the hell did I pay money or why did I sit down in this chair? 2
worst movies I've ever seen?
Yeah. I mean, you didn't realize it was worse. It's like, hey, hold up. This is trash.
Wait a minute.
Like, there's trash and then there's Trip Dash.
What's that movie? Dash. What's that movie name with this how you know it's sorry when you gotta ask what's the name of it. What's my girl name? It's not Jackie Brown, but it was
It's the shirt.
Wow, McDonald's. There you go.
Yeah, I lost it.
Oh, that's crazy. So hey Sean, what's that movie? I always get it confused with Jackie Brown. The one what's her name? From Empire.
Oh, the hit girl.
When she plays the action hero.
Taji.
Taraji. Is it
Mary
Jane or?
It was Mary Jane. Mary Jane.
Yeah.
That was the worst movie I ever seen.
Yeah.
She must have killed 700 people with one gun.
Oh yeah.
It was horrible.
Oh gosh.
I was forced to watch that in the movie theater.
In the movie theater? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. That's
Yeah, that's what married life does to you. You go to the movie to see with Derek.
Some bad movies, but I don't know.
I can tell you one right off. It was so bad.
Yeah.
And the crazy part is I like the characters. The character previously had been in movies, and then they did a movie with the character's name. It was Alex Cross with Tyler Perry.
Oh man! They made a good book fucked up.
Yeah. By far one of the worst things I've ever seen. I'm like, what in the world? It was so unbelievable. It was just atrocious. It was just bad.
It's Tyler Perry, man.
Yeah. I mean, we could do a stream just on Tyler Perry alone, and whatever. But that was bad.
Yeah.
So my 2 are and I paid money to go see this fight, and I left in the first 30 minutes of it. dance flick by the Wayne brothers. I don't know why. My wife wanted to go see that. That was just. It was just. Yeah. First of all, fuck the Wayne brothers.
I'm with you there. Okay.
Number two is it hurts me to my heart. Hurts me to my heart to have to bring this up. But Halle Berry Catwoman. That movie I saw when I was in Korea. Understand now, the movies are free. I walked out of a free fucking movie. It was just like, there's no way I can't do this. And I'm a DC guy. I'm a comic book nerd. I'm not maybe as far interested as some, but I have encyclopedias of comic books. That was a horrible movie. It was just everything from the storyline to I don't know what the fuck. Why are they licking your fucking finger? I have no idea what's going on right now. I have no idea. Both movies, one I paid for, I walked out, and I wasn't the only one that walked out. There were several other people that walked out with me. It's like, nah, I can't take this. No. This is just trash. Dash.
Right. Well, I've seen a lot of bad movies, but for me, rappers who can't act, I was not a fan of anything No Limit. I got to hook up. That was one of those things like, why the fuck did I watch this dumb shit? They made a part 2, but those are probably my 2. Master P, AJ Johnson, and whoever else was in there.
Part 2 was the worst movie in United States history.
There you go. Exactly. Those are my 2.
It was the worst.
The worst
ever motherfucking seen.
Yeah.
And I like him. I'm a fan of About It. I like him.
Hey, I like his music, but he should have never made them damn movies.
No, my other one is Soul Plane.
Kevin Hart and Method Man.
I went on a date with a young lady. She wanted to go see it.
Oh shit!
And she drove.
Let me put both of these.
Yeah, she drove, and this was pre-Uber days, clearly.
That's
important. Because if there was been Uber, I would have taken an Uber home.
Woo!
The worst.
Yeah.
It's not even funny. It wasn't even funny.
No.
Did you pay for some popcorn?
Huh?
Did you pay for popcorn?
I paid for popcorn.
Yeah.
Until you get to the level of walking out of a free movie, I don't know, man. Catwoman was pretty bad, bro. It was just the scene that comes to mind immediately is the fucking basketball scene. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What are we doing? Did we not? And the bad part is, so each Soul Plane was an original script per se. Dance Flick is a parody of something. But Catwoman, you have reference. So hey, you ain't gotta spend all this money, but here's a catalog full of books that can show you a blueprint or provide you with a brief script. And then you had what's my old girl that played she was in Boomerang with Eddie Murphy. She was the older lady. She was the original Catwoman.
Eartha Kitt.
Remember what?
Eartha Kitt.
Eartha Kitt?
Yeah.
Come on, man. You disrespected Eartha Kitt. Like, Halle Berry should be removed from black culture for at least 3 to 5 years. Put in purgatory. Stay there. Making that fucking movie. That was a fucking horrible goddamn movie.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's been some. I've had some bad experiences. Like, why did I pay for this? Yeah.
What's a bad movie? What's a bad movie growing up when you was a kid? Like for me, I went back and watched Teen Wolf.
Damn.
I don't know how I ever sat through as a child and watched that shit.
But it was good with it, though, right? It was good with it, though, yeah.
If you YouTube Teen Wolf, a scene out of Teen Wolf right now, you would probably just slap yourself. Because
I enjoyed that movie when I was a kid. I'll do that. I'll watch YouTube clip.
I'll tell you what mine is Superman 4 Quest for Peace.
Oh shit.
Oh my God. That movie's atrocious. It's just bad. It's terrible. Like it's just there's nothing redeeming about. Like they had to take a break from Superman movies for years
Right.
after that movie. It was that bad.
Huh.
Yeah, it was bad. Nuclear Man, I was like, oh my god, like
Yeah.
of all the villains, all these Superman villains in the comics, and you create Nuclear Man.
Yeah, man. Wow.
Yeah,
That's all they could afford.
Oh, boy.
yeah. Oh god, yeah. It's oh, they won't even show that on TV. Like you can't find it anywhere.
Can't find no Netflix either.
No.
So my original one was the original Fantastic Four. Came out in the 80s, I believe.
Okay.
I would have to share my screen. But if you look at the original Fantastic Four,
Yeah.
just how they demonstrated Mr. Elastic or Mr. His name is Reed. How if they just showed you how they did that,
Yeah.
it was horrible. Actually, you know what? That's horrible. Red Sonja.
Yeah.
Red Sonja with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. Well, no, I give you another one. The original Captain America from the 80s.
Oh yeah, it's horrible.
It's terrible. It's
Yeah. Fortunately, Marvel seems to have learned a lesson, but DC, we can't fucking get our shit to
Yeah.
make shit like Wonder Woman 85.
What about the Michael Jordan movie?
Space Jam?
Yeah, Space Jam.
When the guy
when the guy played Michael Jace,
yeah.
when he's in jail now for killing his wife, played Michael Jordan.
That shit was
That
shit was good.
It's a trouble.
You notice anytime I can't remember, it was real bad.
Yeah. I purged them from my damn Rolodex of memory.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, even with limited technology and budget, like those movies are bad. There's just nothing. There's nothing redeeming about them.
Well, I'm definitely gonna be watching that movie tomorrow. It's called Kill the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh shit!
They're gonna light their ass up tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're gonna light them up first thing in the morning. Hey, real quick before I go, one movie y'all should check out is on Prime. We shouldn't talk about it now because I know Sean ain't seen it.
One Night in Miami.
One Night in Miami.
Yeah,
boy.
I got it on the queue Saturday or this weekend to watch.
I'm definitely watching that again this week because it was that good.
Again, huh? Is that good, huh?
Yeah, for me it was. Yeah.
Hey, so I got you all. Quick question: when do y'all want to do these conference championship previews? You want to do it Friday evening, or you want to do it Saturday? Y'all tell me, and we'll work it out.
Herc's the busiest one. He's the one that has like 18 leagues and joins, that.
Yeah, Fridays are good. Like I said, once the kids get settled, I'm good. I don't have karate or wee ball practice or anything like that. So Friday evenings are pretty good.
All right.
Friday cool for me.
Friday's good. Cisco, Friday's good for you. All right. So I'm gonna say Friday evening at 8 p.m., 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. Or 7 p.m. 8 p.m. Eastern.
Doesn't matter to me.
8 p.m. works. My kids go to bed at 8, so we good.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, we'll do it. So, hey, listen, man. It was a great conversation. A lot of fun. Appreciate it. Of course. Looking forward to Friday night. We'll get a chance to really do a deep dive into these conference championship games coming up on Sunday. Some really intriguing matchups. So I'm really looking forward to breaking it down with you all. But we're gonna go ahead and shut it down for the night.
I heard we got to try and get Michael on here because he's a Packers fan.
Yes. If you
can get Mike on here,
if you can get Mike on, let him know we're going Friday at 8 p.m. Where's he located?
We'll see.
He's here with me.
Okay. Well, yeah. So tell him put it on his calendar because we talking about those Packers.
He's the most paranoid fan I know.
Yeah.
He has like Lucky Rabbit. He throws salt on the right shoulder, pepper on the left shoulder.
Yeah.
He does whatever he can. He doesn't talk. He doesn't talk anything.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. So got to get him on. Yeah, get him on, please, if we can. So.
Okay.
We'll do.
So,
All right, fellas.
all right, hey, appreciate y'all.
Salute to y'all, man. It's been fun, man.
Yeah, been fun, and we'll definitely chop it up Friday night on these games this weekend.
I appreciate y'all.
All
Thank
right.
y'all.
Peace.
See y'all later.